Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there is a form that is down in the description of this live stream right now where you can put your question in there. And I cleared it just, I would say maybe 10 minutes ago. So because of that, there's hardly any questions in there right now. So if you get your question in there right now, really good chance that it's going to be answered on today's show. And just as a heads up, if you are in here on a regular basis, then you probably already know this, but I just want to let you know, just in case it is your first time here. In addition to the form, we also pull questions out of the chat, but we typically do that a little bit later in the stream. So as we are getting started, we typically just pull everything from the form unless something, is glaring, out of the stream in terms of, like somebody asks a very specific question and I happen to see it, then I'm like, oh, okay, let me answer that one, that type of thing. But the priority, though, is the form. So if you have a question, make sure that you put it in the form that is down in the description below this stream right now. And before we get into the stream, I just want to say what's up to Brad, Magic Flying Potato. Hope that you're doing fantastic. Little Crafty Nook, I hope that you are doing great as well. Mr. Camera Junkie, what is going on? Chantel Hills, hope that you are doing fantastic today as well. It's me, Mario. What is up? Nice to see you in here. Pie in the Sky Tours, what is going on? What the hails? Nice to see you in here as well. Albie-tastic, I hope that you are rocking. Kitty, nice to see you in here as well. And everybody else that is hanging out in the stream today as we are getting this party started. So as we get into this, I do want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your content for discovery. TubeBuddy will help you do bulk updates on your channel. And what that means is, let's say that you have like an affiliate link in your video description and it's across a bunch of video descriptions and something happens with, you want to change, where it is that you're sending that, your viewers or something like that. You can use TubeBuddy to update all of the descriptions for that particular link and any phrasing that happens to be around it. In addition to that, there's 90 tools inside of TubeBuddy that you can use that will help you grow and manage your YouTube channel. And you can try TubeBuddy for free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin and see what TubeBuddy can do for you. Now, in addition to that, as you can see on the little sign right here, this is also co-sponsored by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I use to stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that I use StreamYard is because it does all the heavy lifting for me in the cloud, right? It just makes streaming easy for me. And what I mean by it does all the heavy lifting in the cloud is that it doesn't put any like stress or weight on my computer where, there's, I have to have like a big beefy, I have a beefy computer anyway, but I use it to run the hardware, not to, run the software or anything like that. So even if your computer sucks, StreamYard can put together a really nice stream for you and help you get it up there and keep everything stable, which is like a bonus feature. So another really cool thing about it is if your internet happens to go down or something like that, because it is hosted in the cloud, it holds your stream open for you until you can get back into it, which is pretty awesome. So you can try that at StreamYard.com. I've got links to both of those, as well as a bunch of other useful tools and resources and links and all that good stuff for you as a content creator down in the description below right now. So make sure that you head down there and just check out what is available or what is on offer or whatever you want to call it down there. And besides that, I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. I hope that, anything that you picked up last Saturday, I hope that you have been putting it into practice over the course of this week. And hopefully you have your notepad ready so that we can, get into this. And hopefully my goal by the end of this live stream is that you're going to walk away with something, just some new information or something that you can apply to your YouTube channel to help you get better results with what it is that you are doing and what it is that you are trying to do on your YouTube channel. Viper, what's up, my man? I hope that you're doing fantastic. Coming in, dropping the fire emojis. Paul Peck Drywall, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing great. Drew Project, what is up? Hope that you are also doing fantastic today. So what we're going to do, like I mentioned, is we're just going to jump right into it here. And I'm just going to jump right into the very first question right here in the form so that we can go ahead and get this ball rolling on answering YouTube questions. So the very first one is from RR Primetime KD. RR Primetime KD says that they do gaming and reaction content. The goal of the channel is to get 100 subscribers. And the question, the double R in my name stands for Rousey Rioters. So what is the best way to implement this in my intro outro? Also, is it best to talk about what we're doing in the video, then my intro, or the intro goes first, then I say what we're doing in the video? Okay, so what you're talking about here is just video structure. So in terms of the R, in your name, having the double R's there and it representing something, maybe you want to spell that out in like a, your channel art or something like that. Maybe your About Me page, but I wouldn't waste the viewer's time explaining that to people every single time they came into your video. Like I would just get into the content that they came in there for and not worry about that. And if you are like, hey, I do want to express this for like everybody that, sees my stuff, then I would update your channel name in order to reflect the Rousey Rioters thing, right? So instead of, interrupting them with every, video that they watch and all that, then in that case, what you're doing is you are just, making it easier for them to know what's up with that without, abbreviating it. So, hey, Detours with Jeff, what's up, man? Hope that you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here as well. But basically, hey, what's up, Martin? Hope that you are also doing awesome. Martin Hewlett's Common Anxiety. But basically the idea is, from a video structure standpoint, once we get the RR stuff out of the way. So what you want to do is when your video first opens up, the idea is to tease your viewer in some way about something that might be coming up later in the video, or just straight up tell them like, hey, this is what we're doing in the video. This is the thing that I'm trying to accomplish in this video. This is the thing that I'm trying to let you know about in the video. If you're a gamer, then in that case, this is the thing, or these are the things that we're trying to accomplish in this game today, or these are the things that I'm going to be showing you in this game today, that sort of thing. So when you are putting your packaging together, which is your topic, title, and thumbnail, the idea is that when somebody is clicking on that, they're expecting something they're expecting something on the backside of that. So what you want to do is you want to confirm whatever you believe that expectation that you're designing when you create your thumbnail and your topic of the video and your title. The idea is to express that they are in the right place when they land on your video content and your video actually starts playing. So what I recommend is that you do the hook at the beginning, which is basically telling them, what you're doing and why it's important to them, or the journey that you're taking them on if you're a vlogger or something like that. But the idea is to grab their attention, right, when your video first starts. Because if you don't, then, they're getting distracted by the suggested videos. They're getting distracted by things in real life and all of that. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing their attention when the video first starts. After that, if you want to do a logo intro, you can. I recommend that if you're just getting started, you're trying to get the ball rolling, that you just take that out for right now and that you just focus on getting into the content so that people can get into the thing that they came in for, versus filling it up with things that are a waste of time. Because what a lot of content creators do, and I'm not saying that you do this, but what a lot of content creators do is they have these long logo sequences. Like it'll be like a, 5-second or 10-second, sometimes even longer, sometimes, even 20-second logo intros that really don't add anything to the people that are coming into the video. They don't add, any clarity to what the channel's about. They don't do anything. They just simply have like a logo and some music playing. And a lot of content creators, when they're getting started, they think that is like part of the thing. Like, hey, I need one of these, but you don't. So what I recommend that you do is, as part of your structure, just hook them and then get into the actual content. Once you get that part down, you can keep people watching for, a competitive amount of time, then to where your videos are getting, regular views on them. Then in that case, that's when you can start, introducing, intro logos and things like that, and just start, experimenting from there. But at the end of the day, you want to get people into the content, because that's how you're going to win them as a subscriber when you're trying to get that first 100 subscribers, right? So you want to get them into the content so they can know how awesome the content is. So, so hopefully that helped you. And really quick, as well, we had 2 channel members here. So Naomic Art,
welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group, or it's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member. And same exact thing goes for you, D Money Reacts.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Same thing. Make sure that next time you are on Facebook, or if you just go to nimminvip.com, that you go to that group, fill out all the information on the way in, so I can verify it, that that you're a member, and then I will add you as soon as the stream is over today. Let's see here. Rough Girl says, thank you for helping me. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Rough Girl. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Glad that you are enjoying the content. Glad that you are getting value here. Always great feedback. Absolutely love to see that. And we had one more coming in as well from Chris Allen. Chris, thank you for the super chat as well. Okay, so let's see here. So as we keep on trucking here through this form, what's up, Doug? Hope you're doing great, man. So as we keep on trucking through this form here, we've got next on our list, we've got the Canva Classroom. How many people here are Canva users, out of curiosity? So this might be a good resource for you. That's why I'm asking. So the Canva Classroom says, I teach people how to use Canva graphics, a graphics editing program that also has some great options for content creators. The goal of the channel says, I want to share the fun and time-saving things that Canva has to offer to all of its Canva users, but it has a lot of beneficial for YouTubers, thumbnails, things like that. Let's see here. The question, I've had 25 subscribers back at the end of May, and I have a bit over 225. Nice work. And let's see here. It's so exciting that people are receptive to what I'm sharing. Thinking about social media platforms to connect to my channel and wonder what are great platforms to consider that could be beneficial to current and future growth. Thank you so much. So this is a great question. So the very first thing that I want to mention is when you are looking at your YouTube channel and you are thinking like, okay, what other social media, property should I have in order to bring attention to my YouTube channel? The first thing that I want you to think about is, instead of thinking like, hey, I need something else in order to bring attention to my YouTube channel, think to yourself, okay, yes, I'm uploading content to YouTube. Yes, I am, doing, the YouTube thing. However, it's okay for me to upload content natively to the other platforms without the intention of sending them over to my YouTube channel as well. And the reason that you want to think that way is because, when you start a YouTube channel and you start doing this kind of stuff, and you're thinking already, which you already are, you're thinking like, hey, do I need these other platforms? What you're really doing is you're a content creator that is uploading videos to YouTube. But ultimately what you're doing is you are in the startup phase of building an internet brand. So as part of building an internet brand, what you want to do is you want to get your URL, which is your .com, right? So in your case, it would be like canvaclassroom.com if that's available. You want to get TikTok, you want to get Instagram, you want to get anything that you think that you might ever use ever in the future. You want to make sure that you secure those now so that you can either start uploading content natively to them, or so that when you are ready, you can start uploading content natively to them. And the idea there, again, it's not necessarily about, hey, I'm going to try to use these to send people to my YouTube channel. The idea is that that's one more place that, in your case, because you're doing this around Canva, that's one more place to where you can show people whatever it is that you're showing people about Canva on YouTube. You can also show them, how to use Canva for TikTok, as an example, how to use Canva for Instagram Reels, how to use Canva for, anything, any other platform that you want to, put yourself on. The idea is just thinking like, hey, I'm growing my internet brand. So since I'm growing my internet brand, should I, be putting my stuff everywhere right now, or should I secure those and then just go hard on YouTube, or hard on YouTube plus one other one, so that I can see, which one, does better for me, which one, I get more views on, that kind of stuff. But the idea is to just go ahead and secure those other social media outlets. Ooh, excuse me.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
But the idea is you want to make sure that you secure those outlets so that, so that as your channel grows, as your internet brand grows, that you already have those in place. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and upload content to, to those other assets as well. So, a really cool thing about vertical video right now and some of the other platforms that it's taken off on is that, as long as you're not using the on-platform music, if you're uploading original content, you can make one vertical video, upload that to TikTok, upload it to Instagram Reels, upload it to anywhere else that is vertical as well. And then let's see here. And then for YouTube, you could technically even have a shorts channel for that, to where you could do the same exact thing. Plus, you would have your long form content on your main channel as well. So that would be that. Excuse me. That would be what I would that would be what I would recommend now. So in terms of, the other platforms and all of that good stuff. So here, next up, we have Romantic dropping a super chat here, saying for skipping the ad again. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Love Lucy says, hey, Nick, does using Google ads to promote videos affect you being able to monetize with AdSense when eligible to apply? And do they hurt your channel? The idea with ads is that if you are running ads, but you can't get organic activity on your channel already, then as soon as you stop spending money on ads, if you still haven't, developed the skill yet, or the understanding of your audience yet, or developed the ability yet to make content that people respond to positively, if you haven't done those things first and you try to bypass that through, paying for ads, then what happens in that case is people will spend all this money on ads and they're like, hey, it's working, everything's going great. And then they'll turn off their ads. And then the next video that they publish, they think like, hey, I got this audience now. but you still got to get that audience to respond to what it is that you're doing. So if you're getting an organic response, then in that case, you can, if you want to, experiment with ads, just make sure that you target them correctly so you don't end up, driving your channel, down into the ground, so to speak, by, inappropriately targeting, the people with your ads. But when it comes to your eligibility to apply, you can't use ads in order to, kind of bypass the requirements for ads either. So the idea there is you can use it to get subscribers. You can use it to, to get some feedback on how people respond to your videos. You can use it for that kind of stuff. But in terms of getting into the partner program, those monetize, or the ones that you spend ads on, they don't count the watch time for that towards your monetization on YouTube. So because of that, if you're just getting started, if you haven't done the other stuff in terms of, learning how to get people to click and enjoying the content for longer periods of time, learning how to get people to go and watch additional videos and things like that, then in that case, I would not mess with ads right now and go ahead and get all that stuff in place. And, go ahead and learn how to do all that before you start messing with ads. SCB,
Super chat.
Wellbeing says, hey, Nick, I know I'm weakest at live streams. I either burn out or I just pause a lot. Do you keep working on it? Or do I keep working on it or just stick to edited content? So here's the thing, man, is, sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off. Like for today, for example, I'm kind of like a little bit all over the place. Today, I'm kind of trying to hone my brain in to just kind of focus a little bit better right now from when I started. So, like I've been doing this for a long time. I've done tons of live streams and, I still have streams as well to where I feel like, hey, I'm just not really nailing it today. So don't give yourself a hard time about it. If you want to live stream, then I would definitely live stream if that's something that you want to do. Just make sure that when you are live streaming, if it's for the purpose of growing your channel, that you're keeping the replay in mind. But if you're live streaming just to connect with your, with your viewers and the people who are interacting with your content, then in that case, just go for it. And it's okay if you pause, or it's okay if, if you get tired and you're like, hey guys, I was going to do this for an hour today, but we're, 30 minutes in. And to be honest with you, I'm exhausted. So I'm going to head out of here. Everybody have a great week, right? Like you can do that too. It's perfectly okay. Like it's your channel, it's your audience, and as long as you are just being transparent in situations like that, then everybody's cool. So like, for example, if I were to say right now, if I was like, hey, everybody, I'm a little bit rough today. So, we might go an hour. But I'm just going to go kind of as long as I can. Then, then everybody would be like, okay, well, that kind of sucks, but that's cool. Whatever, Nate, or go take care of yourself, right? That idea. So, so when you are thinking from that perspective, what you want to think of is like, hey, I'm not going to give myself a hard time. I'm not going to, kind of stand in my own way of something that I want to do. I'm going to be patient with myself. I'm going to be kind to myself, and I'm just going to do the thing. If I want to do that thing, right? That's what you want to do. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through this list here, and just in case you're just joining us right now, I am pulling the questions from the form that is down in the description. And of course, I will be pulling them out of the chat here a little bit later as well. And if you are just joining the stream, I'm answering YouTube questions. So if you're a YouTube content creator, everybody here that's hanging out in the chat right now is also a YouTube content creator. So you're amongst your folks here. We're all your people. So, feel free to, get to know each other. But I do want to let you know that, if you haven't been in the stream before, this is in no way like a subscriber stream or anything like that. Like this is all about, learning about YouTube so that you can apply the things that you learn to your YouTube channel and you can be a better content creator and get better results on YouTube. That's the idea of what we're doing today. So, all right. So I'm see. Detours with Jeff says, no, go longer, get more coffee. I hear you, right? That's what I'm talking about right now. I'm going to give a thumbs up for that one.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So here we go. So next up on our list here, we've got It's Me, Mario. Says they do daily content. The type of channel is all about funny shorts. The goal of the channel is for community building and possibly money. And the question says, hey, Nick, hope that you're doing amazing. In the last 50 days, I had 50,000 people watching my content. I packed up 15 million views in 50 days. Yesterday, YouTube deleted one of my contents and sent a message telling me, bro, this is your first time, but next time we're going to take nice. It was 9 a.m. From that moment, my watchers dropped from 50,000 per hour to 50 per hour. I feel like YouTube killed my channel. Please tell me that I'm wrong. Love from Italy. So here's what can happen in situations like that is if you have something that's doing well and YouTube ends up, kind of striking that content, or they take that content down. In some cases, if that piece of content was the one that was bringing in a lot of the views, then in that case, you just took the hit, right? So if like all of the other content is doing like okay, but you had that one that was bringing in a majority of the views and they take it down, that's going to ripple through everything it is that you're doing. So because of that, that's why it's so important to make sure that you're playing by the rules. Make sure that you're playing by the rules in terms of, only using content that you have permission to use or that you create originally yourself, making sure that you are within the community guidelines and in terms of the things that you talk about, in your videos and shorts and all of that. But, you want to make sure that you're just staying up to date on the YouTube community guidelines, YouTube terms of service, so that you don't end up in those situations. Because like you're saying right here, you went from 50,000 views per hour down to 50 views per hour. That's a serious hit. And, if you had content that was not something that they could take down because, it was all in compliance, we'll say, then in that case, you wouldn't be in that situation. So hopefully, you'll have another video pop if that, was the reason that, that your video slowed down. But another thing as well that can happen is if a channel is, seen to be doing like shady types of things, then of course, like if a particular video gets taken down, or, if you get like a claim or, something like that, claims are usually okay. But if you get a strike on like anything, then, you can, like other content can be impacted by that for a temporary time. So just keep that in mind as well. Let's see here. Next up on the list. And another thing too, I'm not sure why your content got taken down, but one thing that you might want to do is you can do this on your phone like right now, is if you go and you look at your channel, first go into your YouTube app, go up into the top right, into your settings. Once you go into your settings, let's see, where's this at down here? I think it's under general. And then once you go to general, you have the option right here for restricted mode, right? So you want to slide that on and then go look at your YouTube channel. And then you'll see if any of your other content like literally got restricted by YouTube. Let's see here. So next up, we have Pie in the Sky Tours. What's going on? Hope that you are doing fantastic. I think in the members group, I think your channel is actually next up on the list, just as a heads up. They do gaming content. My aim is to be the go-to guy for all things Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Question, would you recommend I take a course such as Think Media with Sean Cannell, Channel Jumpstart, or Video Labs to take my channel to the next level? Here's the thing about courses is most people that start courses, they don't complete them. That just statistically, that's the thing. So if you are going to take a course, I can tell you that all of those courses that you listed are fantastic courses. You'll learn a ton. They'll put you in the right direction and they're all worth it. Okay. However, they're only worth it if you actually go through the process of going through the course, taking the information, doing the stuff, because all of these courses that you're talking about, Video Labs, Channel Jumpstart, and Sean's, all of Sean's courses, like they require like a lot of work as well. So it's not just go and like listen to it and then like go do your thing. Like they actually require like deep work, like, digging in and figuring out who your audience is and stuff like that. So because of that, if you're willing to do the work and you are sure, like, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm serious about it, I'm going to go and I'm going through every module. If they make an update, I'm going to go in and I'm going to, participate in that. Any of the group calls that they do, I'm going to be there for those. Like if you are going to take it seriously and go through the, go through and complete the stuff, then in that case, absolutely, they can be helpful. If you are like, hey, I want to, but, based on the time that I have and things like that, I'm not 100% if I'll be able to dedicate, all the time, required to the courses, then in that case, I would wait until you can. Because, again, with the courses, when people sign up for courses for everything, the amount of people that don't complete courses, and this is isn't just YouTube, this is like everything, but the amount of people that complete courses is actually pretty low. So because of that, you just want to make sure before you buy a course that you're committed and that you're like, hey, I'm going to go through this, because buying it doesn't get you the results, right? Like buying the course and being a member of the course isn't what gets you the results. It's taking the information and doing the work that they ask you to do that ends up getting the results. Okay. But I can tell you this, Sean's courses, everything he puts out is awesome. He knows what he's doing. Daryl's, obviously, he knows what he's doing as well. Awesome course. People are giving, tons of great feedback on that. Tim, who does the Video Labs, him and his team are extremely knowledgeable. They all know exactly, what to do when it comes to YouTube. So you are in good hands in any of those areas. You might also want to look into Brian G. Johnson's course. He has one as well. And you might want to look into Roberto Blake's course also. You can find Roberto's over at Awesome Creator Academy. He also does like group coaching and things like that as well. I might even have a link to Roberto's down in the description. I'm not sure. But basically, like, all of these courses, the ones you listed, the ones that I just mentioned are all, very reputable, and you're good to go. You're in good hands is what I'm getting at there. Let's see here. So next up on our list for the next question, we've got Dingus Bringus. Love that name. And Dingus Bringus says they do DC movie shows news, and the goal of the channel is to help unite a fan base that can be toxic. That's cool. Trying to keep people from like tipping over vans in the streets when the team loses. Oh, if that's what that is, I'm not sure. But let's see here. So, never mind. That was something else. Sorry, I was thinking something else. Okay, so here, question. How do you revive a dead channel? I used to get a few thousand views per video before I had to take a break. Now I get a few hundred with 7.5 thousand subs. Should I make a new channel or start from scratch? Make a new channel and start from scratch. So first, just make sure that you are in alignment with the type of content that is bringing in the traffic to your YouTube channel. So that's step number one. So if your channel's dead, so to speak, but it has, like if you have an archive of content and that archive of content is still bringing in views, it's just not, at its, peak or whatever. It's just way lower than you would like to have. What you want to do is you want to go in, you want to look. Oh, Daniel has a course. I know that he has coaching, but I didn't know that he has courses. If Daniel Batal has courses as well, then he's also, great hands there too. But basically what you want to do in your particular case here, let me go back to that. Dingus Bringus is one, see the content that's driving the channel. And everybody should do this anyway. Like, you should be familiar with the content that is driving your channel. What I mean by that is if you go into your YouTube analytics, YouTube's going to show you a listing of all the videos, all your top videos for whatever period is that you select. So when you're looking at those top videos, you want to see like, okay, this is the stuff that's this is the content that's bringing people into my YouTube channel. Therefore, since this is bringing people into my YouTube channel, what types of videos could I make, or what things could I talk about in terms of other videos that the people that are watching these specific videos that are bringing in most of the traffic to my channel, that would be a good fit for those people. And you want to make that content. Now, keep in mind, if you took a long break, that, one of the things that YouTube uses to help recommend content to other, to their viewers on the platform is the recency in terms of your channel. Now, topically, that's another thing, but one of the factors that they use is, how recently has somebody been involved with your channel. So if you've taken a long break, then if you've had a lot of activity, then in that case, you've had a lot of people that are interacting with your channel, but you just haven't been publishing new content. But if your channel has just kind of taken a lull and the floor's kind of fallen out from under you, so to speak, then in that case, if you don't have a lot of activity, there's not a lot of people that have recently been involved with your channel. So it's going to take you a little bit of time to get that back together. So what I recommend is that you start publishing like religiously in terms of your consistency, and just make sure that you're looking at, like I said before, the videos that are bringing people in, so that you can make sure that any video that you publish, from today forward is in alignment with the content that's driving the channel. So if somebody watched video A, right, in that top video that's bringing in most of your traffic, then what video could you publish tomorrow that the people that watch that video would be extremely likely to enjoy based on the topic of that particular video and what it is that you're doing in that video. So that's the approach. But you want to make sure that you stay consistent, get back on the horse, so to speak, and just make sure that you stay consistent with your uploads as well. Let's see here. Next up, let's see here. So really quick, had some super chats come in. Let me take care of these really quick here. Okay, live stream, D-Money Reacts, got that. Christy Rice, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Love Lucy says, thank you for answering my question. I kindly thank you for the advice and tips you give us. I've learned so much, Nick. You're the best. Thank you. Love Lucy. I appreciate the kind words. Always happy to get that kind of feedback. So thank you. Christy Rice says, watercolor painter with a how-to channel abandoned 2.5 years ago, relaunched 3 months ago, and views are slow to build back to where they were years ago. Still seeing 300 plus subs a month though. Yeah. So if you're generating enough views to generate 300 subscribers per month, then in that case, you're still getting views coming in. So you're fine. Like, I would just take the same advice that I just gave in terms of just being consistent, looking at the videos that are bringing the most viewers into your channel right now, and thinking like, okay, for those people, what would be a logical next step in terms of the next video that I could make that those people would enjoy. And then you just kind of keep riding that train, so to speak. D-Money Reacts
Super
says,
chat.
Nick, can you welcome me to the Nimminati again? My brother came in, started asking me a grip of questions when you did earlier, and I couldn't hear you. Absolutely. Yeah, we'll go through the whole sequence. You want to go through the whole sequence? Let's go through the whole sequence. So the thing is...
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati, D-Money. Make sure that when you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members-only Facebook group. That's going to redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in because that's how I verify that you are a member, and I will add you as soon as the stream is over if you can, if you can get in there and do that sometime before the stream. There we go. How about now? Do you got me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Verizon, send me the check. Can you hear me now? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're back now. So let's see here. So the question was, and this is from Johnny Calvo, says that I have a few subscribers that just comment so I can return the favor. They hurt my video retention and view duration. What can I do? So there's nothing that you can do about people coming from the outside and interacting with your content in that kind of way. So part of the thing when it comes to YouTube, and it's unfortunate because viewers don't understand what it is that they're doing. Content creators do. Anybody that watches this stream that clicks in one of my videos and that leaves, before the video is like close to the end, shame on you. You're a YouTuber. You know how this works. You should be hooking me up. Come on. But for civilians, though, people that are not YouTube content creators, for them, they can be coming in just for the fact of they think that they're supporting you, right? So they're like, hey, let me click on this video. And because I love Johnny Calabo in the Philippines. So I'm going to click on this video. I'm going to leave a comment just to kind of let him know I was here, let him know I'm, that I'm supporting. And then they leave in that situation. So, it's just part of the thing, and you can't control it. So I wouldn't let that stress you out. Like these types of things are, in terms of that external activity that you can't control because other people are taking those actions, that's just stuff that's out of your control. So because of that, like I wouldn't even worry about it. There are things that you can do. Like, for example, if you wanted to, you could technically like ban them from the channel if you knew that they were, maliciously doing that. But, again, that's one of those things to where it's like, should you really ban them from the channel for coming in and leaving a comment? Because they're not really doing anything wrong, right? So because of that, I really wouldn't, I wouldn't even sweat it. I would just keep on trucking, keep on putting out content, keep doing your thing, and I wouldn't worry about it.
Super chat.
D-Money Reacts, thank you for the super chat there. I appreciate it. And Billy Rains.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time that you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com, members only Facebook group, fill out all of that's going to redirect you. Fill out all of the information on the way in because that's how I verify that you're a member. If you can do that before the stream is over today, then I will let you in as soon as the stream is complete. Kitty says there's not enough time in a day to watch every one that we would love to. Yeah, I hear you. Subscribe to so many channels. Like, it's funny. Like, I have this guilt thing that happens. So with me, if it's a content creator that I enjoy, or whatever, like for me, when that happens, like if I see somebody's thumbnail, I'm like, oh man, like if I don't click it, like I could be that user that is like that last attempt, right? So I'm like, man, let's just click it. And then, like I'll set my phone down like over here and just do something else, something like that. If it's like a favorite creator or something like that, super funny. It's just a guilt thing. Or if it's, like a buddy's channel or something like that, same exact thing. So let's see here. Oh, we got some rain here. Hope the internet stays on. So let's see here. So next up, just confirming that we are caught up there, caught up here. And hey, what's up, Mark Lewis? Mark says, so it's not good to just stop in and give like a positive comment. Like it's okay, but the idea is like, what the most important thing when it comes to YouTube is, the heaviest weighted, I'll say. And what that means is the things that that make the biggest difference is how good you are getting people to click on your videos and how long you can keep them watching for and just interacting, with the content. So what happens is when somebody, like in your case, like if you were to click on my videos, or just anybody here, if you were to click on anybody's videos here and you were to go in and you watch that video for, 15 seconds and you just leave a comment to be nice, you're actually working against that content creator in that situation, because what you're doing is you're going in and you're leaving that comment and you're getting out of there, but you're not actually watching and enjoying the content. And one of the things that YouTube is trying to uncover with all of our content, with every video that we publish, is, are the people that are interacting with this content satisfied with it? If the answer is yes, based on how they're interacting with the content, then the videos will continue to keep getting shown to people. If the answer is no, based on how people are interacting with the content, then in that case, YouTube will stop giving it impressions and stop testing it against people, at least, for a period of time. And then maybe later they'll test it again for a new audience or something like that. But the idea is when you do that sort of thing, like the person will see the comment, but if they don't really know about YouTube, they might see it and be like, oh, hey, this is great, thanks. But, you're actually working against the creator in that situation. Jessica Kent says, shorts have gained me 36,000 subscribers in 30 days. It's crazy. Yeah. So when it comes to YouTube shorts, people are having all kinds of great success with YouTube shorts. So that's fantastic to see that you're doing that fantastic with shorts. So we have somebody that hangs out here a lot, Tinkerman Nick. He got a play button using shorts. So he was growing his channel and it was just kind of moving along, with his regular content. And then he started focusing on shorts, and then bam, in a really short amount of time, he got a play button for it. Crosscut Creators
Super Chat
says, my whole channel is based on interviewing creators. What do you think about mixing in different types of content that is just me reviewing other creators and their channels without their permission? That's still kind of in alignment with what it is that you're doing. So like if people are coming to you for those interviews, then of course, those interviews would be the thing that they would come for. So finding something that's complementary is definitely something that you want to do. Colin and Samir, I'm not sure if familiar with them or not, but they do that to where they interview content creators, but then they also have their own content that they do to where they just analyze YouTube channels and things like that. So you can definitely do that. It definitely works. Just make sure that that both types of content are directed towards the same audience, and that they're also in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish with your channel. Because if you are if you start putting those out and you're like, hey, people are not really responding to these, then just go back to doing more interviews. But if you start, putting them out and people start responding to them at least somewhat close to your regular content, then in that case, just look at that as like, okay, this is going to be a new pillar for me in terms of, the type of content that I put out. So I'm going to have my interviews, and then I'm going to have, where I'm reviewing other creators and their channels. But keep in mind, just a heads up, when you are interviewing or when you are looking at other channels and things like that, there's other aspects to it that you also want to make sure that you're being mindful of. Like, for example, if you were to, let's say that we picked, let's see here, Tim Yance right here. Let's say if we picked Tim Yance and we were to go and we started, watching his video and reviewing his video. If Tim Yance has a song in his video that is owned by, let's say, Epidemic Sound, and you do the review of his video, like in terms of his content and his video and what it is that he's doing, you'd be fine there with fair use and all of that, but you might still end up with a claim when it comes to the actual music. So just be really careful about the approach that you take when you do that, because you can end up with that working against you, so to speak, when you are, doing that on other channels and you're not being mindful of those types of things. Let's see here. So next up on our list, Zaggy DK, my man. Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. So let's see here. So next up, we've got, let's see here. So really quick, Jabin JCB says, which is the best free video editing software for a low-end PC? So some good options for you are DaVinci Resolve if you're looking for free. Camtasia. They have a 30-day trial, but you would have to pay for it after that. But it's a great piece of software for people that are getting started. And if you're on screen recording, stuff like that, that's just a bonus. But DaVinci Resolve is kind of like the go-to for free software. But the downside is if you have a low-end PC, it can be a little bit hardware heavy, so to speak, in terms of the stress that it puts on your computer. So you might eventually need to upgrade, or you can just do it like on your phone. Right. There's all types of apps that can help you do it. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, as we keep on going, we got Yama dropping the gaming question here. It says, how many gamers do we have here? If you're a gamer, just say me. But basically the true goal is to make enough on YouTube to start my own game, anime, and webtoon company. That's awesome. Absolutely love that. So the reason I love that is because it's big, right? It's not like, hey, I want to make money off of YouTube. It's like, I have a clear thing that I'm trying to accomplish here. I want to start my own like anime and webtoon company. Like, that's awesome. High five and fist bump to you for like, you know, for going big. I absolutely love that. The question, is there a way to use YouTube Shorts to get people to watch my other content on the channel? I managed to pull in around 1,000 views on some shorts. So if it's possible to do so, any advice on how? Simply telling people to, you know, hey, you know, subscribe for more, you know, videos on my YouTube channel or more videos like this, or, you know, subscribe, you know, for more, you know, anime or for more webtoons, something like that. Just those little call to actions can be effective. But keep in mind, if people are enjoying your content on the short shelf, then they're enjoying your content on the short shelf. So, you know, that's okay. And if they enjoy your content there, then there's a really good chance that YouTube will also show them, or at least try to show them your longer form content in their feed at some time. So it's just, if they are, you know, if you can get them to click on it or not is the difference there. But, you know, just that call to action, like, hey, you know, I've just a quick heads up, you know, at the end of your short, which could end up hurting your performance. So keep that in mind. This is why it's like, you know, you got to balance it out. But basically at the end of the short, you could just say something like, hey, you know, for more anime, you know, stuff, make sure you know, click on my username and check out my YouTube channel, something like that. But just try to do it as fast as you possibly can, so that you know, don't negatively impact your short performance too much. And if you find that doing that, like all of a sudden your shorts don't do well, then stop doing that, right? Because, you know, if you find that like, hey, you know, that causes people to leave too early in my short, therefore, you know, it's hurting the overall performance, then in that case, just make awesome shorts and then lean on YouTube to try to test some of your longer form content against those people. So next up, we've got Celio. Love the channel name. Says they upload when they have time. They've been on YouTube for less than a month. They have a gaming channel. The type of channel, or the goal of the channel, is I like to work with social media and editing software. I enjoy creating videos. That's my drive. Question: what's the best way to get my videos to my audience? I started 1 day ago and I want to do it right from the start. Great question. How many people here has started a YouTube channel within the last 30 days? If that's you, just say me. So really quick, I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay. So here's what you want to do. The very first thing is you want to go through the YouTube Creator Academy. It's free and it's provided by YouTube. YouTube puts the Creator Academy together for all of the content creators. It's all written, mixed with video. And because of that, you know how I mentioned earlier that a lot of people don't complete courses, same exact thing goes for the YouTube Creator Academy. So what I recommend that you do, step one, is that you go through the YouTube Creator Academy while you're uploading your first videos, because it's going to teach you a ton about just general best practices for YouTube. In addition to that, get extremely clear on, okay, so we got a handful of people here that have started in the last 30 days. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to get extremely clear on what it is that you want out of your YouTube channel. You also want to get extremely clear on who it is that you're making content for in terms of the niche that you are going to be operating in with your content. But also like within your niche, like who is it that you're making content for? Like enthusiast about what, people that are into, you know, what specific things. You want to think about demographics. You want to think about, you know, for those people, where would they be likely to hang out on the internet? What types of things are they typically into? Those types of things. In addition to that, you also want to research other people in your space. And by researching other people in your space or niche, what I mean is go and find all of the channels that you can possibly find based around the type of content that you make, you know, other people that do it, because there are other people that do content like yours on YouTube. So what you want to do is you want to go and you want to research all those channels, because they all have clues all over them. Those clues are things like, how are they doing their thumbnails? What are they using? What type of imagery are they using in their thumbnails? Are they using text? Yes or no? If I go and I look at their videos, the videos that perform the most topically, what are those videos about? You also want to go and sort by most popular to see historically what has done well in the channels. You want to literally track their entire video. And what I mean by that is when the video starts to when the video completes or when it ends, you want to look for details. And what that is, what the details are, is when they open up their videos, how do they start their videos? What do they say? How are they grabbing a viewer's attention when the videos first start? Okay, so you want to do that, and you want to start figuring out like, okay, all these content creators that are consistently getting views when they publish their videos, what are they doing when their videos first start, right? And am I doing that? Right? So that's what I mean in terms of it's going to leave clues. Then you want to start looking into all of the details. How often are they cutting? Are they cutting back and forth? Are they using multiple cameras? Are they using graphics? Are they using B-roll? Are they doing voiceover stuff? Like Like you want to analyze everything it is they're doing and take tons and tons and tons of notes. If you do that across a bunch of the channels in your space, then you're going to start noticing, interesting. It seems like a lot of people in this space are opening their videos like this. It seems like a lot of people, their videos are about this long. It seems like a lot of them are ending their videos in this way. It seems like a lot of them are doing these very specific things. So it just leaves tons of clues. So, so first dig into your niche and all the different channels in your niche and literally just analyze everything. And you want to be doing this on a regular basis anyway, even if you already have, a good channel, like you still want to, do this. But basically you just want to dig in so that you have an understanding of what's working for other people. And that's also just going to get you very familiar with others in your space, which long-term that will end up being valuable to you. And why it will be valuable, just so I can, explain it without just kind of glossing over it. The reason that will be valuable is because once you start to gain traction, some of those other channels will notice, and there's a really good chance that down the road, either at conferences or just via the internet, whatever, that you'll end up interacting with some of those channels. Maybe you'll end up, friends with some of them, things like that. So, so because of that, you want to know what's going on in your space. When there's new people coming in, you want to know it. When there's established channels that are rocking, you want to know it. You want to know who it is, or you want to know who they are, and you want to try to uncover why you think it is that they're doing great, so that you can see if there's anything that you can do to increase the results that you're getting as well. Another thing is when you are making content and you're putting your content strategy together in terms of what videos that you're going to publish when and why, what you want to think about is you want to think about, okay, I have a brand new channel. So since I have a brand new channel, there's not like a huge audience for my content yet in terms of YouTube having data of who the right fit is for my content. So because of that, I'm going to make some, not all, but I'm going to make some of my content for YouTube search, so that the people that find my content through YouTube search, it'll help YouTube better understand who the right people are for my content. That's the idea. But of course, YouTube will end up figuring it out. But little things like that are just like little shortcuts in terms of, as long as you can get your videos to show up in search, then the people that are looking for your type of content will find it. And then once they come in, if they enjoy your content, YouTube will detect that. And then they will start, I won't say scouring, but they essentially, look at how other users are interacting with the platform. And then from there, they'll be like, the system will be like, okay, based on how these people that are finding this video are interacting with the platform, we think that all of these other users that also use YouTube in a similar way, we're going to test this content against them and see how they also how they also respond to it. So, you just want to make sure that you're doing all of those things. And in addition to that, you also want to make sure that you are just being intentional about everything it is that you're doing, because, YouTube, people can get lucky, right? Like you can make a video and that one video or those 3 videos, whatever it happens to be, will do great. But the trick with YouTube is being able to do it long-term sustainably. So because of that, some people will get lucky, but if you are intentional and you are, constantly trying to improve and you're being very thoughtful and mindful of the content that you're putting out and why you're putting it out and all that, then that will lead you into a better place than just uploading random content, crossing your fingers, hoping it'll work out. So, so hopefully that was helpful. So, let's see here. Whole channel based on interviewing creators. Let's see here. So Little Crafty Nook says, I so appreciate you. Thank you a million times. Your input means a lot to me, and I'm so glad I took notes yesterday. Thank you for the kind words. Super appreciate it. Yeah, that's, the stuff that you're doing on your channel is cool. I just definitely think that there needs to be, some, mods to just the actual structure of what it is that you're doing. But I'm glad that added value to you. And thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. See here, Nona Prince says, on YouTube for 5 years, full-time since pandemic. I've grown to 32,000, but suddenly feel stuck and more pressure as AdSense is the only revenue. Any advice? Diversify. Like, one of the things that, anybody here who wants to have like a long-term sustainable YouTube channel that is thriving in terms of you're growing your community constantly. You are getting, relatively consistent amounts of money from what it is that you're doing based on the view counts that you're getting and things like that. Who here would want that? And the reason I'm asking is because, when you are fully reliant, and this is a great example of this, like when you are fully reliant on YouTube ads, and that's the only thing that you're doing for income from your YouTube channel, the downside of that is that you kind of live and die by, by each video. And, when you're publishing content and you're living and dying by each video, then, it can make your income extremely unstable. So you can make bank, like you can make, tons of money from YouTube ads. But what I'm saying is that it can be, an unstable, way to make money. However, if you diversify, just like in any other, way that you diversify, like if you have, some like affiliate money coming in, if you create like your own stuff that you can drive people to, you have merch. Shout out to Spread Shop, by the way. But you have merch that you are putting together through, Spread Shop, which you can actually do for free. If you have any type of services that you offer, any things like that, in addition to the YouTube revenue, then in that case, you start creating kind of fail safes so that, let's say that your YouTube ad money's down. Then in that case, you have these other things that are also, kind of putting money in the pot, so to speak. So because of that, you definitely want to make sure that you diversify what it is that you're doing. In terms of feeling the pressure and feeling stuck, just keep in mind that YouTube does have, its ups and downs. You went full time during the pandemic. And, right now, we're on the backside of that now in terms of, everybody being stuck inside and all of that. In addition to that, people are going back to school, like the younger crowd, which takes up, that's a lot of people on YouTube, that younger crowd. But, a lot of people are going back to school, and the parents are also having to, be mindful of the back to school stuff and all of that. So because of that, there's a lot of channels right now that, that to where it's like, hey, everything is amazing. And then, coming down in the backside of the pandemic where there's not enough, or not as much traffic on YouTube, all that good stuff. It feels like, oh man, like the party's over, right? But in reality, it's just kind of, coming back down to, what it was pre-pandemic. So because of that, I wouldn't be hard on yourself about it. What I would do though, is I would say, okay, so I've grown my channel to 32,000 subscribers. And when I publish videos now, there's not doing as good. Then in that particular case, what I would do is I would go in, and I gave the same advice here a little bit earlier in the stream today, if you're here for it. But basically go into your analytics and you'll see a listing of videos that are bringing in a majority of your viewers. And what you want to do is you want to look at all those videos and you want to say, okay, out of all these videos here, topically, what would make sense if I were to publish, a video tomorrow? What would make sense to the people that would be interacting with all of this other content, the topics, all the different things that you're, talking about or showing or sharing, with the content that you put out of all of those, videos that are bringing in a majority of the traffic, what could you make next that would be just a perfect fit for those people that are interacting with that content based on what you think those people are coming into that content for, right? And then start putting out, those videos based on the videos that are bringing in the traffic right now. And the reason you want to do that is because when somebody comes in, they're watching your YouTube videos. Let's say, you have, the one video that's bringing people in. Some people are clicking on, your end screens, things like that. They're watching more of your videos. So when you are, bringing those people in and they're interacting with your content already, when you publish that next video, that's something topically similar to where YouTube would think, the system would think that, okay, the people that, are interacting with these videos, topically, this particular video would be a good fit for them. So let's show it on the homepage. Let's show it next to some other videos that they happen to be watching and see if they click on it, right? So that's the idea. Since they're interacting recently with the channel, with that content, and there's more people interacting with that content, then what you're doing is you're giving yourself that higher chance, so to speak, of getting on the right home pages of people that will click in and come in and watch the video. So that's the idea. Let's see here. Next up, scrolling around here. Here we go. Chad Reddings says, hey, Nick, been a fan for a long time and have grown multiple channels, over 10,000 subscribers in different niches using your tips and tricks. Thanks for all the help over the years. Have a great weekend. Chad, high five, fist bump to you. Nice work. And love to see that you are thriving. Absolutely love that. Let's see here. What do you think about Avid Media Composer Ultimate? For me, I've never used Avid Media Composer. That one's kind of like an outlier, so to speak, in terms of, video editing software. So I like to use the stuff that is, that has like additional things that you can add to it. So like, for example, Premiere Pro, Camtasia, things like that. You can get, additional things that you can just bring into the content, and it's already like pre-made templates, things like that, to where you can really easily and quickly and efficiently increase your production value just based on using, like different templates and, things like that. So, so because of that, I've never used Avid Media Composer. So I don't really have much to mention on that. Let's see here. Indie Journey says, as a gaming channel,
Super chat.
when you realize it's time to pivot games because new content is difficult to come up with, what is the best way to shift to a new game on your channel? So 2 approaches to think about. The first approach is that if you're going to shift directions, then you're going to shift directions, right? Like that's it. Like you're going to shift directions. So the thing to think about is like, what direction do you shift into? And of course you have to prioritize like what it is that you are interested in, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be, making the content day in, day out, like you're doing the thing. So because of that, you got to prioritize what it is that you're interested in. But within that, if you can, another thing that you want to think about is if people are coming in and let's say that you're doing like, racing games, then in that particular case, if you're doing like Need for Speed, then thinking like, okay, for the people that are coming in and watching like my Need for Speed videos, what other like racing games might they be interested in? If you're wanting to, stay within the racing world, then that way your channel could become, instead of it just being about one racing game, it would be about racing games. Right. So then that way, you'd be kind of creating that bridge between, between viewers and the content. And if you decide, if you're like, hey, I'm going in like a completely different direction, then in that case, what I would do if you have a community feed is I would start asking questions in your community feed. I would do like a daily post, at least, post on the days where you're not uploading content, and ask very specific questions. For example, ask, hey, what games do you play? Let me know in the comments what games you play besides this particular game, and then get a spreadsheet together and literally start tracking it. You can do polls also if you had some very specific ones that you wanted to put there, and then you can get that data back too. But the idea is to start doing some research and figuring out like the people that play this game, as long as, again, you got to prioritize what you're interested in, because you're going to be the one that's doing it day in and day out. But it's like the people that are playing this game, what other, games do they play at scale? Right. So, so you can use your community feed for that. You can mention it in the video as well. You can mention it in live streams. You can also go to places like Reddit and Facebook groups to where, you go into communities about that game and ask the same exact question. Hey, besides this game, what else do you guys play? And if you want, you can say your own games that you play too, just to kind of give, some feedback as well. But the idea is to start getting information on any crossover that you could possibly take advantage of when you are doing the switch. But again, prioritize what it is that you enjoy, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one sitting there day in, day out in front of your computer, cranking it out. So, so because of that, collect all the information so that you can make the best decision mixed with what it is that you enjoy most. Right. So that would be the approach to take there. Let's see here. Next up on the list. Okay. So we got all of those. Okay, so next up on our list, we're hopping back into the form for these. Really quick, Tech Examined, thank you for the super chat as well.
Super chat.
Says, I want to thank you publicly for the advice that you gave me and Michael Fryer Jr. last week. It really helped with our situation. You went above and beyond for us, and we'll never forget that. We owe you big time. My pleasure. I'm glad that was helpful for you. So basically what happened, just, for context for everybody that's watching the stream. So he just hit me up, just asking a question about brand deals. And so because of that, I just kind of went deep in terms of just some things to consider when it comes to doing brand deals. So that's what that is. That's what that's for, just in case you wanted to know for everybody that's watching. So, so next up on our list here, this one is from Celio, is the question here. And Celio uploads when they have time. Oh, I think we did this one already. Let's see here. Yep. Yeah, we did Celio already. Okay. So next up on our list, we've got Rat Hammer Games. And just as a heads up, if you're just joining the stream, I'm answering YouTube related questions, basically helping people with their YouTube channels. So I have a form down in the description where you can put your question, or here in just a little bit in the stream, I'll be pulling questions out of the chat as well. But right now I'm pulling them from the form and then just kind of going back and forth, with everything here. So the next question is from Rat Hammer Games, and Rat Hammer Games says they do role playing and miniature games. The goal is to build a community and get monetized. The question: how to make live streaming more interesting without showing our faces? It's a great question. So when it comes to live streaming, like part of live streaming is that you are sharing, information, or that you're being entertained, or that you're being entertaining. So because of that, when you're not showing your face, then technically, like, I don't know exactly, because you're on like role playing. So in that case, one thing that you could do, I don't have it hooked up right now, or I would show you an example, but basically just have an overhead camera while you're doing the role play game. and basically, you know, it'd be like you and your friends or whatever, and then you'd have that role play game like in the middle, and then you guys would all just be doing your thing, but you'd be live streaming it with like an overhead shot on the actual game, to where, you know, people could, you know, watch and participate that way. Nona Prince,
Super chat.
thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And got love from India too. Nice. My brother went over there. Him and his girlfriend went over there. They spent, I think, I want to say a month in India. They had a great time over there. So once all this craziness in the world is over, then that's definitely on my list of places that I want to visit. Lenny the lawyer, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. So let's see here. Next up on our list here, we have Shadows Gate. Shadows Gate says they have health content. The goal of the channel is to help those modern medicines failed to help. Question says, hey, Nick, I'm about to start a faceless channel, just my voice. The problem is the video background or live streaming background. How can I get long stock video footage, 3 to 5 minutes, to use for such goals? Meanwhile, I can't record outdoors, video background for personal issues. Any suggestions? Thanks in advance. So in terms of long footage, what I would do is, if possible, try to find some footage that loops. You can use like story blocks for that. They do have longer clips in there, but, and you can sort by, you know, the longer clips. But ultimately, like if you're going to do like long stuff, finding things that loop would definitely be a win if possible. But, you know, if you are doing live streams, then in that case, you know, that's going to be a little bit different there. But in terms of the video backgrounds there, basically you can get a bunch of stock footage off of story blocks. And on story blocks, instead of just having like 1 3 to 5 minute thing, then in that case, what you would do is you collect a bunch of footage about that topic. Some of them would be longer, some of them would be shorter, and then you would just put them together based on whatever it is that you're saying, you know, with your voiceover. Let's see here. Next question. We've got Life with Dom and Nico. Life with Dom and Nico says that the channel is an interracial couple channel, and the goal of the channel is to document and build a stream of income. Question: should we continue making videos for our Finnish audience, our biggest geography, even though we know this isn't the type of content we want to make long term? We don't want to miss this opportunity to grow, but also don't want to become trapped in this niche. You're saying it right there. Like you literally wrote out the answer to your question. So like, if you don't want to be trapped in that niche, then don't do that, right? Like if you don't want to be trapped in the niche, then stop making videos for that Finnish audience, right? Make videos. If you're doing the interracial couple channel and you're documenting it and you're doing it to build a stream of income, start making the right calls now and putting out the right content that's going to put you in front of the right people, that's going to help you accomplish, you know, that building of that stream of income, and, you know, and just, you know, building a community around your journey. You know, start doing that with the next video that you publish. I wouldn't make, if it's out of alignment with what it is that you're trying to accomplish on your YouTube channel, I wouldn't make one more video for the Finnish audience, if that's you know, if that's the content that you're currently putting out. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we have, let's see here, Delaza. Delaza says that they do music commentary. The goal of the channel is to have something to do and grow a community. And the question: I recently hit 100 subscribers. High five, fist bump to you. Says, and I got my custom URL. High five and fist bump to you again. But it made me add letters to youtube.com/Delaza. And now my channel link has YT at the end. And I don't know why, because it's not just YouTube. So you have to like mess with it. So first, you got to make sure that Delaza is not already taken. If it's not already taken, and I'll actually check for you right now. Like if it is already taken, then you're kind of out of luck there. Hold on. Okay, it doesn't look like it's taken. So what you want to do is you want to go in and you can change the name. So basically you get, I think it's 3 chances, or 3 times, not chances. It's not a lottery, but you get like 3 times per year that you can update your URL. So I think they made it more relatively recently. I can't remember, but it was 3 times. It might be more now. I can't remember, but basically what you want to do is you want to go in and change it. And like when you first do it, sometimes they, you know, try to get you to, you know, add those things to it. But now that you've done that, the Delaza is available. So because of that, I would go through and I would go in and change the name and do it without the YT on it. Let's see here. So Lenny the lawyer says, I was not able to put
Super
my
chat.
question in the super chat. If someone sends you a message, can you reply with your address and phone number for your business? Absolutely. So if somebody sends you a message on, like they leave you a comment, for example, then technically you can do that. But a more efficient way to, not efficient, I mean, efficient would be just to drop a link there, but you don't want to just fill your comments with like offsite links. So because of that, what I would do is I would put all of that information on your About Me page. And then direct them to your About Me page. And then there, all of that information would be there. Or if you're like, hey, I don't want it public for everybody, I just want it for like this one person, then in that case, make sure that you have your business inquiry email connected to your YouTube channel, so that when they do go to your About Me page, when they go down to your business inquiry email, then they can click on the thing, and then they have to do the little captcha thing to say they're not a robot, right? And then as long as it's not a robot trying to get in touch, then in that case, they can see your email address and send you an email that way. So, one of the things that I do in that situation is I'll direct people there. And like if it's somebody trying to get in touch, I'll tell them to just DM me on Twitter in a lot of cases, or I'll say, shoot me an email through the email that's on the About Me page. And then that way that should get you taken care of. But in terms of, can you? Absolutely. You could reply, with your address and phone number. But at the end of the day, you want to just try to not pollute your own comment section with a bunch of that type of stuff. So instead, I mean, you could technically do it in your video description too. But just having it, one time on your About Me page, so you can send people over there, would be the thing to do. It's a great question. So Kitty says, what if the robot doesn't know it's a robot? Yeah, it's pretty deep. We might all be in that same situation, but we don't even know it right now. So it's kind of crazy. So yeah, who knows? So let's see here. Next up on our list here, we've got our next question is, nope. Rasman's Message from Spirit says the type of channel is spiritual, not religious. They made sure to highlight that. Says the goal of the channel is to get monetized. And the question, I wrote to the writers of Native American medicine cards, but is getting permission enough? Should I take down the lives I have of those card readings before I get permission, or just leave it? Would the permission cover using the cards before I got permission? So if you are like if you're using the cards to demonstrate something, you should be fine. But I would, definitely just, get in touch with them. I'm sure they'll be fine with it too, because you're basically advertising for them for free. So I'm sure they'll be fine with it. But, if you mean, and I'm just making sure that I understand the question here. If you mean that you are, actually like showing cards, don't like card readings, things like that, then in that case, you should be fine. But I would definitely reach out to them just so you can let them know, not necessarily for permission. I mean, get permission too, but just so you can let them know that, hey, I'm making, videos that highlight your stuff with, all the content that I'm putting out, because you might be able to, to create a relationship there to where down the road, once you're monetized on YouTube, or right now, like, depending on the amount of views that you're getting, to where you might, create an environment or a situation to where they might see the value in what it is that you're doing, and they might actually offer you, payment to continue using only their cards and stuff like that, because that kind of stuff happens too. Let's see here. So Bandon
Super chat.
says, I've been making videos on a single game series for 4 years and just recently done it. And just recently done with it. Announced my halt to the game, to the said game series, and audience is okay with it. How do I find a new audience? Start making content with the new game. So start making content with the new game, and as you do that, then the people that are interested in that game will start responding to the new game. You too, Drew. Hope that you're doing awesome, my man. Let's see here. So as we keep on trucking, so next up on the list here, we're pulling this one from the forum as well. And right here in a second, I'm actually gonna pull these. I'm actually gonna go into the chat here in just a minute. So this is from Narfield. Clever twist of the name there. Says, let's see, they do gaming content. The goal is to build a community. And the question, I play one game and generally do tips on that game. Google Trends are down 85% for my game, and it shows in the niches content. Is it a good time to consider a pivot? Yeah, so considering a pivot is definitely a good call in that situation, or like doubling down and like really serving that, that the percentage that's left. But if that was me, I would pivot. And the reason I would pivot is first I would look historically. I would look, instead of just looking at it over the past like few months, I would look over like a, 1 year period, over a 2 year period, 3 year period. And I would make sure that there aren't, consistent, ups and downs with the game just based on, seasons or people being inside or outside or whatever. So I would definitely look at that first. And if you find that, hey, it's been consistently up and then it just took a nosedive, then in that case, I would definitely consider pivoting, just for the sake of, just being able to reach more people. Let's see here. So next up on our list. GYST 2020 says they do how-to tutorials for folding clothing and household items. The goal of the content, or the goal of the channel, is to help others, help myself, learn YouTube, learn how to make YouTube into a paying income. Question: how to use keywords enough to continue getting search traffic and make the most impact, but not too much to be considered keyword stuffing? Okay, so first, I'll cover that one. So in terms of using, keywords, the idea is to just simply use like whatever keyword or keyword phrase that you're after in your title, and or your description. Well, and your description. You can put it in tags if you want to, but you just need to use it like one time. Of course, you can, keep writing, like basically you want to put it in natural language. And then if you are going to continue writing in that natural language, then you can also do different variations of ways that people might look for it. But keep in mind that it needs to be in natural language. If you just do blocks of text, then you're keyword stuffing. So because of that, just make sure that you're just optimizing for that phrase. But I want you to know that at the end of the day, the metadata itself isn't going to be the thing that's going to be the big win, right? It's going to be when YouTube tests your content there and people respond to it at a high rate. That's how you end up staying in search and getting long-term search traffic. If you are just optimizing your metadata, YouTube shows you for that search result and people don't respond and they're clicking on everybody else's stuff more than yours, then in that case, you're going to quickly drop down out of the ranks there in YouTube search. So it's all performance-based. Every surface on the platform is geared towards how can we generate more watch time per impression? Like that's it. So, so because of that, you want to make sure that you are, you want to make sure that, when you are, targeting YouTube search, that you are putting some of your best content out there so that it will, so that it can perform there. But you continue on here and you say that search terms and keywords seems to be 9% of what works for my channel so far, 6,000 watch hours average yearly. So afraid to lose this side of the progress. Thanks for all you do. I recently reached 1,000 subscribers after 3 years. YouTube partner program denied for keyword stuffing. Yet how do I describe it without using those keywords when it's when that's the best description of what it is? So keyword stuffing, just for clarity here. So keyword stuffing is when you're putting blocks of text, right? So it's like a block of keywords. So a lot of people put that in like their video descriptions. They'll do these big blocks of hashtags. They'll do big blocks of tags in their descriptions. And that is what keyword stuffing is. So if you were to write out a paragraph, and within that paragraph, you have your keyword or keyword phrase in that paragraph, like one time or two times, or a variation, like the actual thing one time and then a variation another time. Then in that particular case, that's not keyword stuffing, because you're communicating in natural language and you're just using those words to describe the video. So because of that, there's something going on with your YouTube channel in terms of where you're putting your, where you're putting your tags essentially, or your keywords. You're probably putting them all in like the description instead of the tag box, or, you're putting strings of words instead of actually, building out full paragraphs. Natural Lauracia, hope that you're doing great. What's up? Hope that you are doing awesome today. So your Karashima official says, is it too bad to delete an old video that has lots of views? The reason for deleting it is it doesn't fit the channel content anymore. Yeah, so keep in mind, if you delete a video that has a lot of views on it, that you'll lose the public watch time for that, public view counts for that. So make sure that you are already in the partner program before you delete that video if you're getting close, because anything accumulated from that then wouldn't count towards that partner program. So so that's step one. In terms of deleting it, if you already are in the partner program and you're like, hey, I'm going to delete this because like I'm just not making this type of content anymore, that's a good decision. And it's a good decision because if you are, if that particular video is bringing in a lot of people and they're all interested in, making coffee cups, and you have the new type of content that you put out about making bells, then in that particular case, the people that are into the coffee cup stuff aren't going to necessarily respond to your bell content. So because of that, you want to consider taking that one down in order to do that. But, keep in mind when you do that, then, the actual activity on your channel as a whole could slow down or come to a screeching halt, depending on how much of your traffic is dedicated to that particular video. So just be mindful about that and make sure that you're doing it with intention. Because if you Like if you take that video down, it could, impact you getting into the partner program if you're not in there already. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, Ace Details Holler says, the goal of my channel is to get monetized. I interview drivers on what they want to do in their car if they had money. Question, I'm having trouble with tags. So here's the thing. When it comes to tags, use TubeBuddy. Just use TubeBuddy. Don't spend tons of times on your tags. Tags are like the least important thing. And this is for Ace Details here. Tags are like the least important thing when it comes to optimizing your video. Still use them. The box is still there, but that's what TubeBuddy is made for. Or one of the things that TubeBuddy is made for is if you have it in there, you can just pick from their tag list and be like, okay, is this relevant to the video? Yes. Add. Is this relevant to video? Yes. Add. Is this relevant to video? No, I'm not going to add. So I added anyway. So I'm going to hit delete. So then this next tag, right? Okay. Is this relevant? Yes. Okay. I'm going to add this one. And then you're done with it. So you're literally spending like a minute or less on your tags in that situation. Let's see here. Neil, what's up, man? Hope that you're doing great. Urban van life. So dude, so I was just going through a box downstairs because, as you know, I moved, relatively recently. And so I was going through a box here. I'll actually grab it really quick. Hold on.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So I was going through a box of just mail. So basically in the place where I was at before, basically I just kind of let the mailbox fill up because over here I typically don't get, just normal, mail. So because of that, I just was taking everything out and just throwing it in a box, but I ran into this and I was like, man, let me cover up some stuff here. Actually, it doesn't matter because I don't live there anymore. So I saw that and then saw this and I was like, oh man, this is so cool. So I just wanted to, since you're in here, thank you for sending this. That was just super cool. And it was just cool to see it again. Cause I saw it, when you first sent it, but it was just cool to, to pull that out of the box and see that again. This is back when you had the crypto cruising channel. So yeah, just super cool. So I just wanted to thank you again for, taking that effort and all of that. Cause little things like this, like they mean a lot. Cause it's just, when somebody takes that effort to do something like that, it's just super cool. So I just wanted to thank you again for that. Let's see here. So as we keep on trucking, let's see here. We've got, we did that one. So next up on our list here, we have Financial Brew with Candace Mountain says that they do financial content. The goal of the channel is financial education. Question, as a new channel, when do you think is the right time to begin live streaming? Once you start noticing, technically, you could live stream as a way to make quick content. So what I mean by that is when you live stream, you think of it from the perspective of, okay, if I upload one video per week and I want to kind of accelerate things, I'm going to try my hand at making live content that's actually made for people to consume on the replay. So instead of spending, hours putting together, a 5 or 10 minute video, I'm going to live stream for not 5 or 10 minutes, but I'm going to live stream for, let's say, 10 minutes. And during that live stream, I'm going to structure everything like a video. And I'm actually going to, just have my, structure together. I'm going to hook them, when the stream first starts. I'm going to take them through a similar process that I do in my videos, but it's going to be a lot looser because it's a piece of live content, but you're actually making that piece of live content for the replay. So if you're doing it for the sake of making quick content, then in that case, make the content and then just optimize everything just like you would a video in terms of thumbnail, title, all that stuff, and make sure that you are just being very aware of what's happening at the beginning of your live stream. So when it first starts, you don't want to sit there and just kind of hang out. Like as soon as it starts, you want to come in and be going for it, right? Like hook them as soon as your live stream starts. So when they come in on the replay, then it makes sense for them to keep watching the replay, right? And if you are going to do it for the sake of your community, then in that case, once you start noticing that you have a consistent amount of people that are, continually showing up in your comments, you can also just look at your returning viewers to your channel for this too. But once you notice that you have, a decent amount of people that are coming back to your YouTube channel, then in that case, going live for them is a good place to start. So I wouldn't necessarily do it on how many subscribers you have. I would do it based on how many people are actually coming back to the channel on a regular basis. Daniel Batal, what's up, man? Hope that you're doing awesome. Hope that you enjoyed those videos that I sent you earlier today. Those dudes are just crushing in terms of their skill sets. Absolutely rocking. I sent him some channels of people that are doing the live looping and just super mad crazy skills that some of those people have. So let's see here. So let's see here. Let me scroll up here really quick because it looks like that I missed a couple here. Let's see that one. Okay, so Bandon says, thanks for the answer earlier. I hope to inquire more on Twitter DM soon. Been really having hard times to transition and feel like giving up. Yeah, so like when it comes to, like just being, motivated and just kind of those feelings of like, like, man, I need to like give up or take a break or whatever the thing is, like, it's like those thoughts happen just as like part of being a content creator. Like, if you are just getting started, there's the hurdles of like, hey, I'm just trying to get started. Once you're started and things are going great and you're thriving, then it's the hurdles of keeping up, right? And like, hey, like, how do I keep this ship moving, right? So, like you're always dealing with that type of thing, as a content creator. So just embrace it because, you're going to be having those feelings for a very long time to come. So just make sure that you are doing something that you really enjoy and that you're doing it with purpose in terms of something that you're trying to accomplish, because those two things, doing something that you enjoy and doing something or actually having a goal that you're driving towards, those things will make a huge difference when it comes to like your motivation and just your drive to keep moving. So, so here, Shark Scrapper says, let me scroll down here. Shark Scrapper says, Nick, I saw the recent YouTube change for mentions. Are there best practices we should be aware of? So what Shark Scrapper is talking about is YouTube recently, I think they did this on October 12th as well. It's interesting what happens on October 12th. So October 12th is also back in the day when it was October of 2012, actually, that YouTube changed the priority from view counts to just watch time. As well. But what he's talking about here is now any channel over 500 subscribers. So if you have over 500 subscribers, this message is for you. Any channel over 500 subscribers can now mention other YouTube channels as well. So what that means is in your title or your description, if you mention somebody, then that can show up inside of their creator studio to let them know that you had mentioned them. So just a great way, if you're giving shout outs to people, that kind of stuff, it's just a great way to bring attention to them. In terms of best practices, I would just mention like a person, right? So just mention like a channel instead of mentioning like, a few channels in one swing. Just mention like a channel and just focus it there. Besides that, I would also only do mentions if they make sense. And what I mean by that is like, for example, if I'm going to make a video, I'm not going to necessarily mention, let's say, okay, Daniel's in here. So I'm not going to necessarily mention Daniel Batal in that video if it doesn't have anything to do with him, right? So just make sure that you're just being, that you're just keeping those types of things in mind. But if it's something to where it's like, hey, we're doing this collaboration with this other channel soon, or we constantly are trying to send the viewers back and forth via our community feed, in screens, description links, things like that, and mentions that we're constantly trying to send viewers back and forth with like this, group of channels, then in that case, you can use the mentions, as one more way to be able to do that. Annie's Korean life with hubby says that, I like how you put the hubby in parentheses. Says, we've been making YouTube videos for 7 months with 259 subscribers. Our goal is to achieve one couple goals in one episode. So we're basically character based. Can we get your advice to grow more? So here's the thing, when it comes to YouTube, everything comes down to the content decisions in terms of like topically, like what are you making videos about? And, who is the audience for that content that you're making that for? So like, you got to figure that out. And then once you figure that out, you have to really start leaning on learning how to make thumbnails and titles that cause people to click. And this is something that comes with experience, right? So like some people, they have like an innate understanding of it. Like, oh, I know if I write this, people are going to click on it, and they do, right? So some people have that understanding, naturally. I didn't. But, a lot of people, or some people, or some, maybe a lot, I don't know, but a lot of people have that. But most people don't. So because of that, it's like a skill that you have to develop, or a muscle that you have to build over time, of sorts. So because of that, you need to make sure that you are doing that in terms of making the right topics that will be able to get you in front of a broader, range of people. And then of course, with those topics, then of course you have to make thumbnails that people will respond to, which you'll learn over time. YouTube shows us in our YouTube analytics, our click-through rate. They show us our click-through rate averaged out. They also show it across different traffic sources. So if you're trying to get more homepage traffic, which you're probably going to want in your case. And I would also mix in some search stuff too. If you're doing like Korean lifestyle with, you and the hubby, I would definitely make content, for search as well, for people looking for information in Korea, specifically information about about couples in Korea. But basically, I would target some content for search, but over time, a majority of your views are most likely going to end up coming from the recommendation features. So because of that, you have to develop the skill of good topics, learning how to make thumbnails that get a response, and learning how to write titles that get a response. And then the even more difficult part is once they do click on your video, what happens next? So, you need to make sure that you're paying very close attention to your audience retention reports to see how people are interacting with your videos. And the reason this is important is because a lot of content creators, what we do is we will put out content and we don't look at our analytics. And when we don't look at our analytics, we think like, hey, I'm just making these videos the way that I want to make them, and I'm doing this, and I think these are great. Of course, we think they're great because we're biased to it. We're making it the way that we want to make it, and we're putting it up on YouTube once it's at a place to where we think that it's good. So because of that, we're completely biased to our own content. So you have to use YouTube analytics to get real feedback from how people are interacting with your videos, not people that are in the comments saying, hey, you're great. This is a great video. You're doing awesome. Hey, you should make more videos. You should have 1 million subscribers already. Not those people, but the masses. When they're coming in and interacting with your content, you want to see how people at scale are interacting with what it is that you're doing. And that's why you want to, really lean into your YouTube analytics to learn how people are clicking on your thumbs, and also to learn how people are receiving your content in terms of, when they first click on your video and they first start watching, how far can you get people to watch? How many people can you get to complete your video? They also give us information on our end screens, like how good are you at getting people to click on your end screens? Those types of things are what you need to make sure that you're focusing on. If you focus on those things that I just mentioned, then the next year or the next 7 months will be much better than the 7 months that you just had. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down our list here today, let's see here. So Matt Gaber says, so what up, Nick? Hope you're well. Had a chance to check out VidSummit 2021 recordings. Any favorites yet? I haven't. I was going to do it that following Monday after the whole thing, but they weren't ready yet. So now I'll probably start doing them this coming Monday. I just didn't have any space to fit them in this week. So I'll probably start watching those this coming Monday. Super excited to actually get into them. I just needed this space to actually sit down and do it. So we just built a patio enclosure in the back. So that's taken up, considerable amount of time. So like I didn't build it. I'm not that type. Like I'm not a handy person like that. Like Paul Peck, for example, it's in chat right now. Daniel Batal, because he used to do that kind of stuff too. Like, both of those people could, probably build the entire thing from scratch, from the concrete to, building the whole thing. But me, I just don't have that skill set. So we had somebody else, make it, but we had to, kind of be there and watch them and, like all that kind of stuff, and go to the store, get stuff, come back, hand it to them, say, here's the stuff, those types of things. But anyway, so we just built that. So that's cool. But basically I'm going to hang out down there, and that's going to be my education space now. It's more of a chill space, but it's like, it turned out so well that that I really dig it down there. So that's going to be my sitting on the sofa out there on a laptop watching VidSummit space. Let's see here. So the Ingram Experience says, Nick, I'm getting this. Great job. People on YouTube are choosing to watch this video more often than usual, but I only have 25 views on this video. Okay, so basically, if people are responding to it better, it doesn't mean that the video is going to take off. They're just telling you that more people are choosing to watch the video. So, typically when you publish your videos, I don't know how many views that you typically get, but the idea is that they're saying they're choosing to watch this video, which means that they're clicking on your videos more. That doesn't mean the actual, performance of the video itself in terms of the watch time that you're getting from the video. It's saying that they're choosing to watch this video more often, which means that they're clicking on it more than they typically do. So what you want to do is you want to use that as a learning moment. And you want to say, okay, if people are clicking on this more, why? What did I do in this video? And you want to start looking at things like, okay, let me see if I can pin this to the screen. Okay, so what you want to do there is you want to say, okay, people are clicking on this video more often. So that means that I was able to get people to click on this more. So that's step one. So what was the topic of this video? What did the thumbnail look like? What was I focusing on in the thumbnail? Did I have text in the thumbnail? Yes or no? Was my face in the thumbnail? Yes or no? Was I focused on an object? Yes or no? But basically you want to break down in detail what was going on there in terms of the topic, the actual thumbnail itself. But another thing that impacts click-through rate is also the title. So because of that, you also want to make sure that you're looking at the title and you're like, okay, what exactly did I say in the title? what was in the first 50 characters, what was the whole title? Was there a specific structure, or were there any focus words that I was trying to bring attention to in the title? You want to make sure that you're basically just unpacking everything with that video, so that you can come up with your own theories on why you think that people responded to that better, so that the next video that you publish, you can start testing those theories on that video, and then the next video and the next video, so that you can start to, over time, start to have that better understanding of how people respond to your content and why they click on the content that you're putting out based on the experiments that you do. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got, you know what? I prematurely did that. So here we go. Okay. So current daughter's channel, it's Maya, 70,000. Our family is still unnamed, is the name of the channel. The type of channel is a lifestyle family channel. We got a lot of text here, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go through all this, but we'll try. So the goal of the channel is the lifestyle family channel that shares our ups and downs, and not just the glam. We want to entertain, inspire, motivate, and brighten up their day. There are a lot of great family channels. However, the majority of them are your traditional family, mother, father, and children. Ours will be from the eyes of a single parent family and share our journey in following our dreams, and to entertain them as well. Question. Good morning, Nick. Good morning. So here, thank you for all of your knowledge that you share. We're starting our lifestyle family channel. It's me, my 20-year-old son, and my 15-year-old daughter, that just hit 70,000. But I'm so stuck on deciding on our new family channel name. Our first name are too hard to remember and spell. Do you have any suggestions on how to go about finding a name? Also, should we include family in our name, since our family channel, it's going to be an inspirational and entertaining family channel? Yeah, so I would definitely include the family thing, just to help people, like when you're commenting around YouTube, you're just, randomly using YouTube, just so, for those little moments, so that, you do have, family or family vlog or something like that as part of your name. That's a win. In terms of the name that you use, I would personally, I wouldn't use my real family name and like a family vlog with like kids and stuff like that. I wouldn't do that, just because, I wouldn't want any negative attention going to them. Right. But if you decide to, maybe you use a shortened version of your name or something like that. Just something that would make it, or just a respelling of your name, so that instead of it being, what the last name of the family actually is, it would be very similar, but it would be spelled in a way that's easier to remember if it's something that, is difficult to remember. So that'd be the approach that I would take in that particular situation. But for the protection of the kids, they're not really kids anymore. They are. You got 15-year-old and 20-year-old. So one of them is a kid. The other one might as well be. But basically, just for their protection, I would just be careful on the actual name side. D Money Reacts is our next question here. D Money Reacts says that let's see here. I'll react to anything from anime to comics to sports. And let's see here. The goal of the channel is to hopefully gain a following of people who love anime and pop culture as much as me, and maybe even make a career. The question. What's up, Nick? Haven't uploaded my first video yet due to a plethora of technical issues, but I'm just about ready today. My question is, when is a good time or subscriber count to make a second channel? In my case, I plan on making a gaming channel in the future if I gain a good following. Thanks for all that you do. Much love. So thank you for the kind words. When it comes to the making a second channel, I recommend that when you are putting out content and you're just getting started, I recommend that you go all in on one channel. And the reason that I recommend that is because when you go all in on one channel, you're giving that one channel everything you got. You're giving it the best possible, when you have the option, work on this channel or this channel, you don't have that option. You're always just working on that one channel, which means you're going to have a better understanding of the niche. You're going to have a better understanding of the audience. You're going to have a better, you're going to have more time to actually, make the content, make that content better, analyze what's going on in the channel and how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. Use your analysis to make better content and just kind of rinse and repeat that process. If you do that on one channel while you're getting started, then in that case, all of your energy is going there. I'm sure you've heard the analogy about, if you have a magnifying glass, right? You have that magnifying glass, and if it's moving all over the place, then nothing's really going to catch. But if you focus that magnifying glass, if the sun's behind you, if you focus that magnifying glass and you don't move it, then, whatever anthill that you're pointing it at, it's gonna, erupt into flames. So because of that, just kind of, focusing that energy on one channel until you get that channel to a place to where you're okay, this is great. I'm able to work the process of making content into my lifestyle to a point to where I'm able to consistently upload content on a regular basis to my YouTube channel for a consistent period of time. And since I'm comfortable with that, I now see that I have these other openings in the time that I have available. That is the time to where you're like, okay, this channel is taken care of. Like I've dedicated the time here and I have a certain amount of time that I dedicate to this every single week or month or whatever it is that you're doing every day. And because of that, like I have that time worked in. So now any of my free time that I have, if I want to start another channel, that would be the time that you would do that. But even in that case, like I would still go hard on the one that's doing well and try to make it even better. But if you do want to, spread out to additional channels, I would make sure that you get one going first, because it's really easy to distract yourself. When you start distracting yourself with all this other stuff, then you can't really get anything going, right? But if you just focus on one thing and you really try to understand it and try to make it as good as you possibly can, then that will make that one do well. And then once that one does well, that's when you want to start considering, if you're going to do the gaming channel, that's where you want to start considering doing that. Annie Marie, ever blessed. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Lawless Baron says, love SM7B, Nick. Really great mic. When you release a video and they get pushed in browse features, does YouTube push the videos in the same playlist? So basically how that works is when you are publishing your content, YouTube doesn't necessarily push your content. So the way that this is explained to me by Todd, who works on the search and discovery team over at YouTube, the way that this was explained to me is that when you publish a piece of content, YouTube is basically checking their system, like who's a great candidate for this piece of content right now, who is on the platform right now that would be most likely to enjoy this piece of content based on what this content is about. And then it will show the content to those people. So it's more of a pull for the viewers than it is a push for the content creator, right? So because of that, what happens is they're showing the individual videos that they think, just based on the topic and, the other things that they watch on YouTube, the things they don't watch, what they like, what they don't like, all that good stuff. What's happening there is they're showing the content that they think that they would be the most likely to enjoy at that point in time. And in some cases, that can be a playlist. If that person, has a history of like going into playlist and watching a bunch of videos together, then that person might see a playlist of yours. If they typically just watch like one-off videos, then that's where you get them into your video. But if you have your playlist set up and you have your channel set up, if you're optimizing everything at the highest level to where, and your end screens, you're driving people into playlists, and your pinned comments, you're driving people into playlists, your cards, you're driving people into playlists, description links, driving people into playlists and all that. Then what you start doing at that point in time is you start creating a situation to where if somebody watches video A and then they click on that link in your playlist or in your video, and then YouTube will take that information. I'm not sure where this fell out, but basically the idea is that YouTube will take that information, like, hey, people are watching these videos together a lot. Therefore, in the next up spot for people that are in the playlist or people that are just coming in and watching these videos individually, let's start testing to see how people respond to these in the next up. So then if somebody's watching video A, then even if they don't come into a playlist, then YouTube is likely to show them video B because you have a lot of people that continually watch those videos together. That's the idea. Okay, so next up on our list, Cemetery Views.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Super appreciate that one. I mean, I appreciate them all. That's a big one though. So thank you so much for that. And let's see here. So
super chat.
Abhinav Sravastava. My apologies if I'm saying that incorrectly. Thank you for the super sticker as well. So let's see here. So next up here on our list, what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and pull one out of the chat right now. So I'm going to pull like 2 or 3 questions out of the chat, and then we're going to jump back into the forum here. Just for people that, maybe you just woke up and you just didn't get a chance to put your question in the forum or something like that. Go ahead and drop your question in the chat, but make sure before you do, make sure that you put a Q in front of your question so that I know it's for me and that it's not just a side conversation that's happening, in the chat. In the chat. So I'm working on a little fun song. I just started working on it today on like if I have to, go to the bathroom, if I have to refill a coffee or something like that. just something that I can play here for that moment instead of just showing like a boring screen. Because I've got the video of Brian G. Johnson and I that I'll show typically in that situation. But I figured, I'm going to make like a handful of different videos, I think, over time to just kind of break it up a little bit, just kind of make it a little bit fun. Thoughts about shorts. Shorts are great. A lot of people are having, fantastic success. Like, I don't even know what that means. A lot of people are having success with YouTube shorts. So one thing you got to think about is since YouTube shorts are, good for getting views, you also just want to make sure that if you are going to be aggressive with shorts, or if you're going to do shorts on a regular basis, you want to make sure that that the short form content actually, is in alignment with what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your channel. Like if you're trying to get people, to do a specific thing, if you're just trying to like grow the channel, like, hey, I just want views and subscribers, then in that case, shorts is definitely one of the avenues that you can take to get there. If you are trying to, sell something as an affiliate, in that case, you can still do that from YouTube shorts, but not necessarily at the scale that you can if you are, making a piece of video content that is intended to rank in like YouTube search, for example, just in terms of like long term, right? Like it might do great right out of the gate, but they just don't seem to have the lifespan unless they're extremely high performance that the long form video content does. So because of that, just make sure that you're considering like, okay, with these shorts, like why is it that I'm doing the shorts, and how do they work into my content strategy overall, and how do they fit into what it is that I'm trying to accomplish with my channel? But they're great. Like I'll watch them sometimes, but it's weird because I'm like, like YouTube's my jam, but typically, like when I go to watch short form content, even though YouTube has the short shelf, I'll go to TikTok. Like I'll go to TikTok for the short form content because I'm just not like YouTube's algorithm just isn't serving me the right stuff yet in shorts to where TikTok has me nailed. So because of that, for like the short stuff, I'll go over there. But every now and then, I'll get caught in a loop, so to speak, where I'll just be sitting there mindlessly droning through a bunch of shorts on YouTube too. It's so hard, like it's funny. Just, a quick rant here. Like it's funny how easily we can get sucked into our phones. Like I had the other day, I was sitting at the kitchen table and I'd finished breakfast and I was just sitting there, just kind of going through, I think I was in like Facebook, and then I hopped over to like Reddit, and then over to TikTok, and then into YouTube. And I like stopped for a second and I was like, what am I doing? And I like put my phone down, and then, like went and, played with the dog or whatever. But it's just funny, like how easy it is to just get like sucked in if you're not paying attention. It's great. Let's see here, but high five to us as content creators, right? People that can, like when you're watching, all this content, the people that can, suck you in terms of, grabbing your attention and like holding you in there like that. It's, it's pretty awesome. Phone. Okay. So, let's see here. Next up on our list, this is from, D Money Reacts. Says, I think we did one from D Money, but I'll do this one again here real quick. Says, I'll react to anything. Oh no, I just answered this one already. Technical issues. Okay, yeah, we answered that one already, so we'll move on. So the next question is from Savam Talukter, and you know what? Actually, I'm let me pull another one out of the chat here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just jumped right into the form. That's kind of like a muscle memory thing. Let me go back up here into the chat and crush through some of these questions that just came in the chat. Let's see here. Are shorts only posted from a mobile device? You can also post them on a computer as well. You just need to make sure that they are vertical and within the time limit. Let's see here. As a JRPG channel, am I safe to upload videos of me creating my own game in the RPG Maker engine? I'm not sure what the RPG Maker engine is, but what I would do, like most likely you'll be fine, but what I would do is I would just shoot an email to whoever makes the RPG Maker just to get confirmation. So you have it in writing that it's okay to use. Let's see here. If you got haters doing something right, that is absolutely the truth. As we keep on scrolling down here, I have a phone right now. When do you think I should buy a camera? Whenever you want. So like when it comes to making video content, like these days, like phones are so good that that you can make awesome content with your phone. So as long as you have enough lighting and all that stuff, and of course, depending on the type of content that you're making, like a phone might be all that you ever need. So I have a video on my channel that I published probably about 3 months ago now, maybe 4. But basically, it's a guy in Bangkok. And he grew his channel to over 100,000 subscribers just using his iPhone. No microphone, no nothing. Just, him vlogging around Bangkok because he gets it, right? Like he understands media and he understands that he has to add a certain type of value in terms of, sharing information with people, like, teaching them things about the area, keeping them informed while also entertaining them. And he's a very engaging person as well. So he wins, in a bunch of different ways, but, using all of his talents, he was able to, grow his channel to over 100,000 subscribers just using this phone. So if he can do it, then you can as well. Says I just don't get shorts. Yeah, shorts, it's basically just short form content. So basically the idea is you just think about, like what could you do with the type of content that you make in order to make something for the short shelf. So like, for example, since you watch my videos, I'll just give myself as the example. So like, one thing that I could do is I could just give like really quick tips, or I could give quick production tips for, for video production, things like that. I could do, show quick like studio hacks, that kind of stuff, to where, I could make really short videos showing all of those things. And I could, make them into shorts. I could also do lists of stuff, just like tool lists or highlighting, specific tools. Like they're, if you just get creative around the type of content that you make and just think like, okay, what could I do that would be really short? Then in that case, you'll end up with tons of ideas for what you could do. Let's see here. My pleasure. Glad that you are enjoying the stream. Let's see here. Okay, ideas for live streaming for language/culture content. I don't really want to teach live. Would live study sessions work? They do work. So like study with me streams are like a normal thing. So absolutely those types of streams do work, but you just want to make sure that like the people that would be watching a study with me stream would be the right audience for you. So in your case, I would make sure that it would be like language study session. So that, so in that case, the people that would be coming in, they would know that you're, studying the language or whatever. So that could be an approach that you would take with that. Let's see here. Clickbait, no question. Just wanted to say thank you for all that you give in your live streams. Thank you for that. That was total clickbait. Oh, that was great. Says, does the community tab show only to subs? Anyone who's recently watched one of your videos or anyone who watches something similar too. Subs can see them, non-subs can see them. And you can also find people, or like in some cases, you'll also see people that are non-subscribed seeing them too. So it's supposed to be that like your subscribers see them and people that just interact with your content. But, like I've put out a handful of polls on my content. I've also had other people do it as well, to where, asking, are you subscribed to my channel? And you get a lot of no's, which is pretty interesting, but you can test it yourself. If you have over 500 subscribers, you now have the community feed. So you can also, test that against your folks as well. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, I'm going to jump back into the forum here, really quick. Crosscuts Creator says, skip my last super chat. Let me see what we've got here. I might have just thought that I got it already. Give me 1 second. Okay. So Crosscut Streamer says, which social media platforms are just table stakes and which ones do you go hard on specifically and why? I'm asking because it feels exhausting to be active in multiple places all the time. So here's my thing is I try the best that I can to enjoy my day-to-day. And when I enjoy my day-to-day, that comes down to making sure that I'm prioritizing on the things where I can make the biggest impact and the things where I get the most pleasure. So because of that, that is typically for me, YouTube and Twitter. I have accounts on TikTok. I've got accounts on Instagram, those sort of things. When I travel, which I haven't done now, because of what's going on in the world, I haven't done that now for quite some time. But when I travel, that's typically when my Instagram will start back up. The platforms that I'm most active on are YouTube and Twitter. The reason I love YouTube, obviously. And with Twitter, it's because that's a great place to just get information in terms of like what's going on. And that's also a great way to actually interact with other people too. And it's just fun. Like for me, I love the conversations over on Twitter. It's just a little bit different. So because of that, I really enjoy it. I'm also extremely active on Reddit as well. So those are the three for me. Now, in terms of, using it for your YouTube channel, totally different thing. So for me, like I try to optimize for, enjoyment, pleasure, happiness, all of that good stuff. So because of that, like I'll typically just be on the ones that, that I enjoy. However, if you're doing it for your YouTube channel, like, hey, I'm trying to bring attention to my channel, then in that case, go anywhere where your audience is. So if you are like, hey, my audience is on Reddit in these particular subreddits, then go start interacting there. It's going to help you better understand your audience. If it's in Facebook groups, then go interact there. It's going to help you better understand your audience. If it's on Twitter, go there, get involved in the conversations that are happening there. It's going to help you better understand your audience. And just whatever platforms it is that you enjoy, then you just want to use them in a way that just helps you better understand your audience. And then, of course, where appropriate, or just where you want to or where you're interested, that's when you would start, publishing to some of those platforms as well, besides just, interacting. Sorry for skipping the thing there. Let's see here. And then we've got Jay-Z Helps. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great.
Super chat.
Says, should I experiment with legal commentary videos for long-term biz success and work-life balance? What would you do if you're in my niche? For creators who have explosive growth, the creators who do explosive growth do legal commentary. If it was me, considering you are an attorney, either you would research this information to have a deep understanding for it, or I'm sure you have an attorney friend that could, help you in terms of, just a deep understanding of like fair use to make sure that you're doing it correctly. As long as you're doing it correctly, then yeah, like if it's something that would bring attention to you and your business, then the legal commentary based around, pop culture is definitely something that I would experiment with on your channel if your channel was mine. And like you said, in terms of like, work-life balance, I think that, as a content creator and as a business owner, which you are, there's definitely work-life balance, but, even with work-life balance, it's still in here. So even when you're not necessarily working, some people have the ability to just kind of shut it off and just kind of walk away. But, I know for me, I have to be very intentional about like, okay, oh, here I am on YouTube again. Oh, here I am in my stats again. Oh, here I am in catching myself doing those things in order to shut them down and spend my time, doing the, additional things that I enjoy, because I enjoy that too. But basically, when it comes to the commentary stuff though, I would definitely consider that as long as you do it in the right way to make sure that you fall within fair use. Let's see here. Oh, there was the question right there. Boom. Should you redo old videos that you could do better now? I highly recommend it. And the reason I highly recommend it is for more than one reason. The first reason is because when you are, as you're getting your stuff going, like your skills improve. If you go watch, the videos that you first started publishing, compare those to the videos that you're doing now, you're going to see an improvement. If you don't, then in that case, you should roll up your sleeves. And I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this to like, everybody. If you don't see an improvement between the first videos you uploaded and now, then you should, roll up your sleeves, start watching some videos on like production and, all of the stuff in order to be able to make your videos better. But basically when you are, when you're putting out, content that you've made before and you can do it better, you're basically just, serving your audience in a better way. And it's also important to know that, if somebody subscribed to your channel a month ago, that doesn't mean they watched all your videos. That means they could have just watched one video, or they could have just watched 4 videos. They might not even know that you have that other video. So because of that, like if you look at my channel, I've got probably like 4 videos, maybe 5 videos on like how to name your stuff, how to name your channel. I've got, tons of videos on like getting views, getting subscribers, that kind of stuff. I've got, a lot of videos that, that have a lot of overlap. And I'm perfectly okay with that. Every now and then I'll get a comment where people will be like, haven't you made this video before? But for the most part, it's perfectly fine. And you should, in my opinion, you should, if you're like, what, I can do this so much better now, then you should give it a shot. Let's see here. I broke the algorithm for a meme and I don't know where to go from it. Should I keep making the same content? If you broke it in terms of like your channel blew up from it, then in that case, yeah, I would definitely keep making some meme content if people are enjoying it. If you broke it in terms of like, like nothing is working on your channel now because of it, then in that case, you would definitely want to go into something else. Let's see here, or still do like similar content, but just do it in a way that that gets a better response. Let's see here. How to manage and prioritize categories of the large to-do list items needed: content creation, business and income, learning, research, skills, analytics, improvements on well-doing content. So for me personally, I manage these based on, the thing that I need to work on the most. So like if I know, like, hey, I need to work on, like, hey, the income is down. So if I know like, hey, the income is down, then it's like, okay, well, I know exactly, what the actions I need to take in order to get it back up again. If it is, something else like the channel or, just skills, anything like that, like, I just prioritize things based on, like what's needed. So like, for example, if I'm like, okay, If I am going to be getting some new tech or something like that, and I'm going to have to go through a learning curve on it, then I'll just write off the time and I'll literally put it in my calendar as like a, hey, spend this time learning, whatever. So like, for example, if I got like another, device to help run my stream, then I would make a note in my calendar to, to watch some YouTube videos, use that time to actually learn. So, one of the things that is really important to always remember is that, when you schedule stuff, just like, you have a work schedule, right? You have a work schedule in terms of the time that you're expected to be there. You have, scheduled, dinner times, possibly, with your family or with your friends when you meet people, like outside of, when you go outside. In addition to that, you have, all these different things, doctor's appointments, all these things that you schedule in your life. But people don't schedule things like learning, and they don't schedule things like, skill development and, those sorts of things. So like, if like, hey, I'm really deficient in this particular area, and if I can get this improved, then it's really going to make a big difference. Then, start prioritizing those things that have the highest probability of making the biggest impact in what you're trying to do. And just make sure that you schedule it in. And if you schedule it in, then you'll create that time for it by simply scheduling it in. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Wakefield is in the house right now. Roger Wakefield, my man, congratulations on 400,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. So yeah, he's blowing up. I'm sure, for all of you that hang out in this live stream on a regular basis, I'm sure you've been watching, his journey on his YouTube channel and just seeing the progress that he's making. He's just crushing it. But he just crossed, just the other day, he crossed 400,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. Roger, high five, fist bump to you, my man. Just absolutely crushing it. That was a good birthday present, right? Like a belated birthday present of 400,000 subscribers. Oh, love it. So Chantel says here, she says, I have education scheduled on my calendar, or I just wouldn't get time for it. Yeah, you got to do that kind of stuff. Like when you are being mindful of your time and where you're spending it, like you really start to notice. I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine recently, and we were talking about meditation. And when we were talking about meditation, she was saying that she didn't have time to, do the meditation. And, one of the things that I mentioned to her is during our conversation, like she could have actually spent that time meditating, because the amount of time that we were having our conversation, she, it equated to the amount of time that we were talking about sitting down meditating. So, like when it comes to, that time, it's just, saying like, okay, this time I'm just going to commit to it, and I'm going to schedule, like, I'm going to schedule that education time. And in her case, I'm going to schedule that meditation time. And, by scheduling it, that, that ensures that it gets done. Thanks for the kind words, Roger. Super appreciate it, but absolutely crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. So let's see here. So next up on the list, we've got, it's the best way to do it, I found, in my opinion. Best way to do it is like right when you wake up. So then that way it kind of sets the vibe for the day. So for me, similar thing, doing it like right when you wake up, because then like it's before everything is like busy. And then in that case, if you need to like wake up earlier, a little bit, 20 minutes earlier, whatever, to make it happen. But like, like once your day gets rolling, then it can be hard to squeeze it in there. So as part of the morning routine, definitely a great place to do it. Let's see here. So here's the thing. It's funny. We're talking about like meditation now. This is great though, because it's, it's an opportunity to just talk about it. But basically, Shark Scrapper says, I tried to meditate. My brain kept saying, did you upload? Did you post? Did you respond? So that's okay. So the thing with meditation is you are basically watching your thoughts, right? So it's not that you're trying to stop your thoughts necessarily, or that you're trying to make yourself think something else. It's more that you get yourself accustomed to observing your thoughts. And when you're observing your thoughts, then it makes it really easy to make things like that okay. And the whole idea is that you sit there and you're doing your breathing. And then when you do notice your mind off in that situation, thinking about all these things, all you do is you just acknowledge like, hey, I'm thinking about my upload schedule. I'm thinking about all this stuff. It's perfectly fine. It's my brain doing what my brain does. It's okay. But now that I've noticed that, because, you've lost that focus. So now that I've noticed that, now I'm just going to focus back on my breathing again. And then, you just keep going. And then a few minutes later, you'll probably find, oh, I'm thinking about this other thing again. I'm like, I lost my focus again. And then again, hey, it's okay. And then you just bring it back and then you focus on your breath again. So let's see. Next question that we have, just to kind of bring this back to YouTube here, is from the Basement Surge. Basement Surge Says they have a podcast channel. The goal of the channel, it says we want to grow our audience and eventually monetize to improve the production quality of the show. The question, do people really care about watching two guys talk to each other in a podcast? What are some ways you think we can differentiate ourselves? Boy, do they care. Yeah, they absolutely care. So when it comes to people, watching podcasts and watching, like two people talking live streams or podcasts, whatever, people definitely respond to that. Joe Rogan is a great extreme version of that in terms of he's really blown up and people really, enjoy watching his podcast. Jocko Willink is another example of that, where people, they like the information and the things that he talks about and his perspective on things, people just dig it. They just enjoy watching it or listening to it. So people absolutely do. So what you want to think about is the way to differentiate yourself is think about when you are listening or watching podcasts, all the things that you like, do a lot of that. All the things that drive you crazy, don't do that at all. And then just focus on doing, the stuff that you like and none of the stuff that you don't like. And then try to find, like one of the things with Jocko is he even has like a unique look to his stuff. So he's got multi cameras and all that, but all of his are like black and white and kind of like gritty looking, but it's cool. It's done in a cool way. So, that is one thing that kind of helps his stand out as well. So, doing those types of things can definitely be advantageous for standing out. Jay-Z helps us to keep Daniel Batal's hair silky smooth. That's good. I owe him $2 now. Oh, so good. So let's see here. So Rodney Full Circle. Let me see if I can find this here in the chat so I can actually pull it up on screen. And this one is to cover D's phone so he can call me. Yeah, we do it over the internet, so it's all free, right? Let's see here. So I'm looking for this question, but I might just have to it looks like it's past the scroll and no, there it is. Okay. So you maybe answered this before, but I missed the answer. I'm wondering what things I can do to speed up my editing for my talking head videos while filming the video. I took 9 hours to edit an 8-minute video. So first off, Rodney, just as a heads up, when you start editing videos, keep in mind that, if this is something that you haven't done before, that you're going through a learning curve right now. And as you start, doing it more and more, then you're going to get more familiar with the software. You're going to get more familiar with like how you're organizing things and all of that. And you're going to start going through things, a lot faster. But I'm going to give you some tips. So when it comes to doing all of this stuff faster, the very first thing that I've found to be faster for talking head content is to record in clips. And the reason that you record in clips is because you click, the record button on your remote, if you have one, click the record button, and then you say whatever it is that you're going to say. You click the record button again to stop it. And then you do your next clip and you click the record button and then say what you're going to say and then stop it. And then when you mess up, it's okay. You just stop it. And then you hit, to do it again. And then you, like when you hit the record button again, then you're like, hey, I'm just doing the same clip again, but I'm just doing a new take for it. So then what happens once you get it all into your video editing software, then you just go through and you listen to how you're starting each clip. And then for all of the clips to where it changes, you move one clip forward because the last one is usually the one that you go with. So you just move one clip forward and that's the good version of that particular segment that you were doing. And then you pull that one up. And then you just kind of rinse and repeat that process. By doing that, it just kind of helps speed through everything. And it's also faster because, and this is also going to be dependent on the software that you're using. But if you can click on it, you can get that audio preview of like what it is that you're saying, then that saves you from having to scrub through like one long video that you took because you just have these clips and you're just like, okay, listen to that, listen to that, listen to that. Oh, this is the one, I pull it in. Instead of, okay, here it is on the timeline. Let me hit play, see what this is. Okay, now I got to listen to this next part because I don't know where it is that I switched, where I moved on to the next thing that I'm saying. So now I got to sit here and I got to listen to all of these different things. So that makes it fast. 2, work with templates. So when you're working with templates, what I mean by that is set up, and with this, it doesn't matter what software that you're using, but basically with the software that you're using, you want to open a blank project. And then when you open that blank project, pull in your end screen, pull in any lower thirds that you typically use. If you have any type of like branded graphics for what it is that you're doing, if you ever show text on the screen or anything like that, anything that you have that you use on a regular basis in your content, put that in the template. Intros, anything like that. So then when you go to, make a new video, you just copy and paste that template. All that stuff's already in there. and then you open it up, and then all you have to do is just kind of scoot things around instead of going and actually finding the stuff on your computer and pulling it over. That brings us to the next thing, which is organization. So on the organization side, basically just get used to, when you're pulling in your videos, putting them in a specific folder for the actual, like how I do it is it's like the video title, and then underneath the video title, that the video title is the actual, like actually YouTube is the root. Then it's for this particular channel, then in for, you know, whichever channel, then underneath that, then it goes into the actual videos, and then in videos for there, then that's where it goes, like title of the actual video itself. And then within that folder, that's where you have like the videos, the project file, you have a thing for music, a folder for audio in general, like if you're adding sound effects, things like that, or if you're doing processed audio, B-roll, graphics, and then any branded assets as well. But you put all of that stuff into a folder. Organize it that way so that when you're working within the project, you have everything contained within that area. So then you can, you know, easily just kind of move things around as you need to, and you can quickly find whatever it is that you need. But for, you know, speeding up your workflow, those are definitely things that, that can be helpful. Another thing as well, when you are editing, if you can give yourself notes when you are recording the content, like if you have ideas and you know how you're going to be putting the video together because you're recording for the edit, and that's a really big part of this too in terms of speeding things up, is be mindful. Like, okay, I'm recording this for the edit, so I don't have to get everything that I'm saying perfect. I don't have to do all that. I just have to say it enough until it comes out in the way that I think is, you know, is perfect for the edit. So basically record for the edit. And let's see here. There's one more that I was going to say as well. Notes, that's what it was. So when you're recording your videos, if you know that like, hey, I'm going to have B-roll in this part, then what you can do is, if you have a script or if you're using bullet points, what I do is I'll color code like the specific bullet points, or if I have like, you know, a note for, you know, like a scripted note area, then in that case, if I'm like, hey, I know this is going to be B-roll, then what I'll do is I'll color code that section, and then I'll just read it. Right. I'll read it because I know B-roll is going to be on top of it. So then I'll just read through it. So then that helps me actually record faster. But on the note side though, like let's say that, you know, that, you know, hey, there's going to be B-roll in here or whatever, then you can just say, hey, you know, this is going to be B-roll of, you know, a person playing basketball or whatever the thing is for the type of content you make. So then that way, you can either have that note there so that you know to do that in the edit, which keeps you from having to think about it. Then that way you just go find it, or as you're making those notes or as you're having those ideas, write down what it is that you need in terms of the B-roll footage. And then when you're done recording the video, hop into a stock website and go find like all of the footage on that list, download all of it in like one batch, and then dump that into that B-roll folder that I was talking about inside of your project file. So then as you're putting the video together, you have all of your contents of all the stuff that you're going to be using. You have it all there, and then you just have to bring it in and put it all together instead of having to like, okay, now I'm at this part in the video, so now I got to go find this clip, and then now we're like, you know, 30 seconds more. Now I got to go find some more clips. Doing it that way just kind of helps speed everything up. So hopefully that helps. Let's see here. What else do we have? Let's see here. We got Luciana Lopez Lima says growing up on YouTube could be harder than graduating from university. I'm not sure. I didn't go to university. I graduated high school barely, just because, you know, it's just not my, like, I just have I didn't get into it. I did okay. But you know, but like by the time it was all said and done, I would say I probably barely made it out, but I did okay in the things that I enjoyed. But yeah, so in terms of growing on YouTube, harder than graduating university, probably not. Probably not. But just like graduating university, it is a process that you go through. So, you know, like when you start university, you know, you don't know much about the stuff that you're going to be majoring in, but by the time you're done, you know, you're very well versed. And that's the whole point of, you know, going to university. So, you know, YouTube's similar. When you first start, you don't really know, what are the right things to do? What are the right content? You know, how do I structure everything so I can edit faster? Like we were just talking about, like, you don't know all that stuff. So because of that, you have to go through a learning curve, just like you would do, going through university. And those things, I actually made this. I mentioned this on Facebook, just in a conversation the other day. Another thing too is like when it comes to YouTube and the things that you have to go through in the learning curve. Like that learning curve is like a filter of sorts, right? So the learning curve on YouTube, of course, like I said before, earlier in the stream, like people can get lucky where they put out like a couple of good videos, but like for long-term sustainability, to have a long-term, YouTube channel to where, it's something that you're going to ride for like years to come. In that situation, like when you are going through that learning curve, like that learning curve is a filter of the people that are going to make it and the people that aren't, in terms of the people that are going to have long-term successful, sustainable channels. And that learning curve is simply like the people that are willing to just make sure that they're, building up the skill sets that they find themselves deficient in, and, just kind of leaning into the stuff that they're good at and all that good stuff. But that filter of all the different things that you have to learn and all the skills that, that you develop along the way, and all those internal things too, because we grow as people when we're content creators too, because we start watching ourselves on camera and seeing how we communicate and all that good stuff. So, that learning curve creates a filter. And with that filter, the people that make it through that learning curve, that period of time where they're learning all this stuff, for those people, like they'll continue on and they'll have, good, successful channels. The people that don't, the people that are just like, hey, I'm just throwing this out there, hoping it works out. For those people, they typically don't make it through that learning curve because they're not actually dedicated to making it work. So just like, like in a university scenario, like the people that start, not everybody finishes because they just don't want to put in that work there either. So, the same exact thing, applies in that particular case. Let's see here. So next up on the list, we've got, let's see here. Let's go we did the basic surge already. Next up, we've got Plowman's Backyard. Plowman's Backyard says they do homesteading and outdoors content. The goal of the channel is to use YouTube as a source of income, as my wife is losing her job November 1st. Question: if our channel is mainly about homesteading, outdoor stuff, is it best to continue making content based on those topics, or is it wrong to venture out to create different content? So if your entire channel is about homesteading and outdoor stuff, I would still make homesteading and outdoor stuff content. The idea with niching down, and I say this in live streams all the time, the idea about niching down isn't necessarily about, let's do it this way. The idea of niching down is that you just get clear on who it is that you're making your content for. That you get clear on who it is that you're making your content for, so that you can use that as a filter, okay, the people that I'm making content for, in your case, it'd be people that are interested in homesteading and, the outdoor, just outdoor lifestyle stuff. For those people, with this idea that we have for a video, would that type of person enjoy this piece of content? If the answer is yes, then put it out there. If the answer is like, well, I'm not really sure, or probably not, I mean, it's kind of like a little bit off, blah, blah, then in that case, don't put it on there. Or experiment with it and see how it does. And then just make sure that with that experiment, that if it does do great, that you are committed to going in the direction of that, because that might end up being what drives your channel. So, you want to make sure that you're being careful there. But the idea is just to look at it from the perspective of, with this content that I'm putting out, is it a good fit for those people that we're trying to reach? So the example that I give for this one is, just because it's such an extreme example, is since you watch my content, you come to my YouTube channel to learn about YouTube, to learn about, the tools, resources, and information to help you thrive as a content creator. So because of that, that's what you come to my channel for, but you're a content creator. So since you're a content creator, if I wanted to do skits on my YouTube channel, I could. They may or may not do well based on, how you responded in terms of how funny I am or how good I am at putting a skit together. But if I wanted to do skits on my YouTube channel, I could, but I wouldn't just do skits about like about a new movie that came out. I wouldn't do skits about, something that would be unrelated to things that you guys would not, necessarily care about, as a group. But if I did skits and I made those skits in a way to where YouTube content creators could relate with them right out of the gate, and the whole skit is about things that YouTube content creators could relate to, then in that case, that would be an appropriate piece of content for my YouTube channel, because the people that I'm making that for, you would find that, relatable and entertaining in that case. So even though it wouldn't necessarily be teaching you about YouTube, but I would still probably make it a teachable moment. But even though it wouldn't necessarily be teaching you about YouTube, it would still be catered or designed, I should say, to be something that you would relate to as a YouTube content creator, so that when you did click on it, you did come in right out of the gate, I would need to grab your attention with something that would help you identify that content was something that you would relate to, right? That's the idea. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. So Neil, Urban Van Life, says we've grown from two things, content and finding the right person to learn off of. We are Team Nimmin and always have been. We are 70 off of 10,000. And by the way, following this teaching has gotten us to where we are. So first off, man, high five and fist bump to you on getting ready to cross that 10,000 subscriber milestone. So if you're into the van life stuff, He's 70 people away. Get over there. If you're not into the van life stuff, don't go over there because, you know, you're not the right fit for his content. But if you're into the van life stuff, go check out his content. If you enjoy it, make sure you subscribe while you're there. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. I love seeing that. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got, let's see here. What was this? A skit that involves YouTube and potatoes. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Let's see here. So next question that we have here is Ground Affected says that they do how-to and review content. The goal is to pay the bills and live more comfortably. And the question, why, when I've put more effort into thumbnails and editing and making sure to stick to upload times, etc., does my views actually seem to suffer? It's kind of hard to put in days of effort on a video and only get 100 or so views. So here's the thing, and this is a hard pill to swallow for all of us, but it's how it works. So, you know, I'm just being straight up with you here. So when it comes to YouTube, and really when you're putting content anywhere, because it all works this way, when it comes to uploading content to the internet, we are not rewarded necessarily by the effort or the time that we put into our content. We're rewarded by how people respond to the content that we're putting out. Okay. So what I mean by that is, yes, without question. If you put out a piece of content and you don't put any effort into it, there's a really good chance that, you know, the viewer experience is probably not going to be that great. Therefore, the video is not going to do that well. However, if you put in, you know, enough effort to where you're like, you know, hey, you know, I've got a thumbnail that people click on, you know, fair enough. I've got, you know, audience retention that people watch my videos for a competitive amount of time, all that good stuff. Then in that case, you know, you've put in that effort to get you to that particular point. Therefore, your views are going to be, or not your effort, but you've put in that effort to make content that people respond to better in terms of the click and the retention and just the general interaction, you know, with your channel, because all the other factors that are involved too. But basically you've put in that work to get that response, and that response is what makes the content perform better. It's not the effort per se. I mean, it is, because that effort is what made the content better, but it's how people respond to it once it's finished. So you can spend days, weeks, months making a video, but if when it's tested in the fire of YouTube, if people just don't respond to it, then all of that time doesn't even matter. In terms of, you know, like you might be like, hey, this is the best thing I've ever made, and that's a win. But in terms of the video performing well on the platform, it might not necessarily perform well on the platform just because you spent a month making it. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you're always focused on, like, I got to make this stuff in a way that the viewers will respond to in terms of a click, a watch, and when they watch it, that they also, you know, have additional engagement, or they, you know, at least make it to the end of the video or close to the end of the video, or they click on an end screen or whatever. Like, that's the goal. Let's see here. Hey, thank you, Justice Schmidt. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Let's see here. It'll be soon, relatively soon. I would say possibly next year. Technically, I've already generated 1 million subscribers on the channel, but I've lost over 250,000. So, Andrew Cannon in the house, what's up, man? Hope that you are doing fantastic today. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got our gameplay. They have gameplay, edits, shorts, and others. And the goal of the channel is to have 1,000 subscribers and upload videos for making people happy and have many subscribers. Question: YouTube keeps removing my subscribers and likes, and I can't see some people's comments on my videos. Okay, so YouTube verifies engagement. That means that they verify the watches that you're getting on your videos. They verify the likes that you're getting on your videos. They verify the subscribers, all of it. They're basically checking against like bots and spammers and people that are doing sub for sub and watch for watch and all that stuff. They're basically looking for all of that. They're even looking for little things that you might not think of, which is if somebody watches a video, because you guys can see my screen right here. So like if somebody, let's say they open their video over here and then they open like 10 different windows and they have like their video being watched on 10 different windows, they think like, oh, hey, this is going to give me 10 views, but it doesn't work. YouTube verifies, they know that you're not active on all of those at the same time. They know that they're coming from the same IP address. They know that they're coming from the same computer, like all that stuff, right? Like they detect all of that. So when they detect that and they detect that it's not, like an actual view or, something like that, or somebody that, that's actually like involved in the content, liking it. Like if they came in for 3 seconds, liked the video and left, then that one will probably be taken off and that won't count. So that's what's going on. So basically they're just verifying them, and they're the ones that, as they're verifying them, they are coming up as kind of shady. So they're taking them out. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we've got Jumper Jump reviews, Super Jump reviews. Says they do gaming content. The goal is to make it my full-time career. Okay, so really quick. So far here, out of these last few questions, we've had, hey, thanks, Doug. I'll get that right here in a second. So we've had one person saying that they're wanting to go full-time on YouTube, or they're wanting to use it as an income source because their wife is losing their job in like a couple of days. We've had like three or four in a row where people are talking about like they want to use YouTube as an income source. For everybody that's trying to use YouTube as an income source, like I just want to stop for a moment and just remind you that if you're wanting to use YouTube as an income source, it's important to make sure that you are being active when it comes to figuring out how to monetize your YouTube channel. So you don't want to just use YouTube ads. That's like the slowest route to being able to generate substantial income off of YouTube. So if you are getting tons of views on YouTube, without question, you can get, like a serious amount of money from YouTube ads. However, you don't even have to get a lot of views. Like you can get, sustainable income, off of YouTube ads. But the idea is to be active right now in putting, working through, figuring out things that you can promote as an affiliate, writing down a list of like brands you would like to work with, and actively trying to, get in front of those brands through tweets and things like that, as you're putting out content, doing those types of things in order to be intentional about monetizing what it is that you're doing. Because every video that you're publishing right now, if you're one of those people that are trying to do this, or that are trying to, get income from YouTube, every video that you're publishing right now, if you're not doing the other things, if you're just relying on ads, every video that you're publishing right now can definitely, if you're in the partner program, it can definitely generate income for you. However, if you're not using some of the other methods of monetization, if you're not diversifying, then you're going to live and die by your ad revenue. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're being very intentional about how you're monetizing, and that you're making videos that are intended for monetization. Not monetization in ads, but things like, videos where you're bringing attention to something as an affiliate, that you're considering the viewer intent. Like if you're going to target that video for YouTube search, you're considering the intent of somebody looking for that review or that comparison or whatever it is, so that if your video shows up there, that you can get that person in right before they make that purchasing decision. Like that's the idea. So you just want to make sure that you're building this stuff into what it is that you're doing, and that you're being strategic about it if you're wanting to go full time. Because if you just publish content, yeah, you can definitely get lucky. If you have no plan, you're just putting stuff out there, you can definitely get lucky. But if you are being intentional about it, then you are going to create your own luck in that situation, right? So because of that, I really encourage you, if you're one of those people, or if you're considering, even if you didn't leave the question, but you're like, hey, I'm wanting to, get some income from this, I really encourage you to make sure that you're just being intentional, and that you're trying to find different ways to monetize what it is that you're doing, and that you find the things over time that your audience responds to best, and that you do a lot of that, and then less of the things that people don't respond to as much. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got, let's see here. So there's a super chat here that I missed. Let me scroll down here and grab this really quick. I'm just making sure that I got them all here. Get my last super chat. Okay, we got that one. Okay, so Gaming for Christy
Super chat.
says, a dev for the game I cover contacted me and said he's a fan. He asked if he could do something to help. Not sure what I should request he do to help. So first off, if they are a developer, just saying like, hey, if you're enjoying the content, if you give me like advance notice on the games, let me like demo some beta stuff or whatever. So then that way you can be one of the first people to make content on their game. So that, as people are, finding that game, or as they're looking for things around that game, like you're one of the few channels that have any content at all about that game until, they push the updates to everybody, that kind of stuff. So I would definitely try to be an insider there in terms of getting, a head start on the games. In addition to that, like I would pre-make the content as well. Like if you do get the head start, like I would do like, guides on characters. I would do, like the places to find all the cool stuff, and, like in whatever game it is that you're playing, to find all the ammo or to find all the loot or whatever the thing is. Like I would just get those videos primed and ready for when they do the release. So you can just kind of put them out, a little bit rapidly at that point in time to take advantage of, everybody looking for, information on the updates. In addition to that, Also, if they are a game dev, consider asking them about sponsorship. So, you know, I'm not sure what type of activity you're getting on your YouTube channel. I'm looking right now. Okay, so you're just getting started. So, so since you're just getting started, you know, just mentioning with them, say, hey, you know, just as a heads up, you know, like, you know, if they're, you know, if you have anything that you're wanting me to make a video about, you know, I'm definitely open to that idea. You know, if you want to do that for like a fee or in exchange for, you know, just being an early bird on, you know, the games before they officially launch, like that kind of stuff. But like the fact that you're under 1,000 subscribers right now, and you have a game developer reaching out to you because they dig what you're doing, that's fantastic. So, so you're off to a good start. I would just make sure that you just go ahead and start, you know, working on that relationship. Like your answer could be, you know, hey, right now, if you could just give me early access to the game, that's cool. And then that's how you start that relationship. And then down the road, that relationship might turn into something, you know, greater as they see, like, you know, hey, they're getting some serious momentum here. You know, their community is extremely engaged. Therefore, you know, maybe we can work out something, you know, a little bit better in terms of like a sponsorship or something like that. Let's see here. So Tiny Orchard Quilt says, yes, diversify. I've grown to around 70 different income streams, and YouTube ad revenue is no longer the largest source. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, making sure that you are, you know, diversifying is definitely, you know, definitely advantageous. Let's see here. So there was a question about my multiple camera switching. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. So, Justin Schmidt asked about how I was having the camera switch and all that. So, so basically the cameras that I'm using are, this one's a Sony A5100 with a Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4 lens on it. I would typically have the better camera here, but because I use this for like, you know, conference calls, stuff like that, I just put this one here just because the wear and tear on the camera. This camera here is a Sony A6500 with that same lens, the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4. This camera here is a Sony A6500, but instead you can actually kind of see it sitting over there by the Stormtrooper helmet, like right there. But that one is the lens that I have on that one is a Sony 35 millimeter. Then I have an ND filter so I can turn it to, you know, so you guys can actually see the screen, because if I don't have that, it just blows out. In addition to that, this camera right here is a Canon 90D with a, I think like a 10 to 18 millimeter lens, Canon lens on it, is what the lenses I have for that. And then the thing that I'm using to switch is, if you see my hand right here, this is called an ATEM Mini. This one's actually a Pro ISO. But they have the Pro ISO, they have the ATEM Mini, they have the Extreme, which is a much bigger version. But for what I'm doing here, like, this is fine. But basically the box here plugs into my computer through like a USB. And then it plugs in as a USB, but then I can plug 4 HDMIs into it. So I can, you know, run 4 cameras into this, and then it comes with software to where you can set up macros, and those macros you can tell it, turn to this camera for this amount of time, turn to this camera for pause for this amount of time, this camera pause for this amount of time, this camera pause for this amount of time. But you build out this macro, and then you have that macro, and then anytime you start your computer, then what you do there is you can just, you know, or not start your computer, but when you know, get ready to go live, then you open that software and you go to your macros and you hit whichever sequence that you set up previously, and then you just hit play, and then basically it'll just sit there and switch for you. And then you can do the manual override. So like if you decide that you want to, you know, highlight something, then in that case you can just click it, and then you have the manual override to change it to whatever it is that you want as well. So hopefully that helped. Let's see here. So next up, I actually have, so here's what's going on, Neil. So here, within the next few weeks, we are launching our music service. So basically free music for YouTube content creators. That's going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks. And then after that, we have Tube Spanner coming out. I'm not sure which is going to come out first, the streaming thing or Tube Spanner, but one of those two will be next up on the list. And then shortly after, whichever one is next there, will be the following one. So basically we've got those things being developed, and we'll be going into like promo mode for those things, just spread awareness about them. And then once those things are, you know, done, and they're, you know, like people are using them and all that good stuff, then I'll start pushing the course out. But I've got the name, I've got, you know, content for it already. Like I just haven't made it public. How do you track brand sponsors recently monetized? It's a great
Super
question.
chat.
So first off, I just want to recommend that, like I'm going to tell you, but in addition to what I'm going to tell you, I recommend that you follow, and I've got a link to him in the description. There's a guy that comes on this stream on quite a regular basis, and I actually should have sent the invite out today, but we're already, like, I'm down to like 30 minutes, so I'm not going to. But there's a guy that comes on this stream on a regular basis. His name's Roberto Blake. You've probably seen his content, or you've seen him here. If you haven't seen his content, you've probably seen him here. But he actually is kind of niching down into the creator economy. So I really recommend that you follow his YouTube channel. Again, a link to him is down in the description. But he'll give you tons of insights on that. But in addition to that, in terms of how to attract brands to what it is that you're doing, first off, you want to make sure that you have an engaged community, because there's different approaches. Like if you're trying to just get like one-off videos, then technically once you're in the partner program and all that good stuff and your channel gets to a certain size, you can just use the YouTube Brand Connect. And YouTube has the Brand Connect, and you can connect your channel through that. Since they bought FameBit, basically it's that. But basically you go through that Brand Connect, and then you can get deals through Brand Connect. But in addition to that, if you make content about something, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that is for, like, you're making it for your audience, but you are showcasing things that are for a company, then in that case, like, let's say, for example, I was making, videos, and I was highlighting this coaster for something, or this was a highlight. Then in that case, I would put that out on Twitter. And this is a great way to use Twitter, by the way. But I put that out on Twitter, and I would basically share the video there, but then I would also tag or at the company that has that thing that I was showcasing. So then that way you're bringing it to their attention that you're already making content, based on their stuff. And that is one way that you can get their attention. The second way is, of course, you can like reach out on LinkedIn and places like that, because all their marketing people, influencer marketing people are there. So you can link out, or you can reach out there. But when you do reach out, make sure that you are thinking from the perspective of like collaboration, right? That you're thinking from the perspective of like, hey, these people know that all these YouTubers are reaching out to them. They know why. So because of that, don't just reach out and say, hey, I got this channel, would you want to sponsor a video? Reach out and say, hey, I'm putting this video together. I'm showcasing these particular things. I would love to work with you together in some way on this video, and, try to open up the conversation that way, instead of like, give me, right? Because the thing with brand deals is that a lot of content creators look at brand deals as like the fast road to like money. But at the end of the day, what you're actually doing is you're actually creating a relationship with the people that work at that company. So as you are reaching out to people, and as you're interacting with people, remember that brands are they're actually the people that work at the companies. Like, that's who you're dealing with. So because of that, like, you just want to connect and follow all those people on like social media everywhere. And you just want to use, all of that as opportunities to just interact. And then when you do have things like an idea for a video, then that's where you would reach out to them and say, like, hey, I've got this video I'm working on. I think you'd be a great fit for it. I'd love to work with you in some way. Here's my media kit. And then you put together a media kit for them. But here's my media kit. And, so they can know your demographics, what your audience is about, your general view counts, all that good stuff. But you put together your media kit so that you can always include that with those types of interactions. In addition to that, you can also just start emailing people. And by emailing people, you basically put that into like a sales process. So just like if you were selling just like if you were selling coasters, if you started a coaster company and you needed to sell coasters, then of course, in that case, you'd probably start a YouTube channel for it. That's what I'd recommend. But basically, like, one of the parts of that is, you would need to, reach out to distributors and, people like that would help you be able to sell these coasters. And that would require sending a lot of emails and things like that to find people that would be interested in actually, working with you on that. So the same exact thing goes with YouTube, is you want to get together like a good list of all the companies that you would like love to work with, and then companies that you would enjoy working with under that. And then you just want to start, interacting with them in any way that you possibly can on a regular basis on social media. And in addition to that, you want to make sure that you're tagging them in anything that you make that has any of their stuff attached to it. And then of course, with a lot of them, send them emails and just say, hey, I'm working on these videos, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to work with you in some way, so on and so forth. So that you can, just be on their radar. In some cases, you won't hear anything back, but then they'll hit you up, 6 months later. In some cases, you won't hear anything back at all, and you'll never hear from them again. In other cases, they'll reply to you immediately, and they'll say like, hey, it's a great idea. Let's work on this. What can we do to help? That kind of stuff. So, just the outreach is the thing that you want to do. But once you get to a certain point, because you're recently monetized, once you get to a certain point with your content, once you start picking up momentum, once your community is, in place and they're, like really engaged in what it is that you're doing, there'll be a point to where you won't have to actually do outreach unless you want to. And you'll start having people reach out to you and trying to get in front of your audience. So in between now and then, if you want to, start on that outreach, I would definitely do that. Another thing that can be advantageous as well. And like right now, with the way things are in the world, I know like a lot of conferences and a bunch of different industries, they're just not happening. But for the ones that are, if the industry that you're making content in, if they're having conferences, things like that, go to them also, because a lot of great relationships can be created at conferences with the people that are behind the brands, to where you just go and hang out in the booths, talk about their stuff, all that good stuff, get their cards, give them your cards, that whole thing, to where you can start to get to know people within the industry, know people at the companies. If you work with them or not, just getting to know them so that when things do open up and they are looking for people, then you end up being on that list. So a great example of this is, like a lot of you probably know already, that one of the sponsors for the channel is Camtasia. And with them, I've been using them since September of 2014. So in terms of support for the product, like I think it was like my second YouTube video or my third YouTube video, I'm like mentioning to use them, right? So in terms of support for the product, like that's been there since I started my channel. In terms of the relationship with them, I ended up meeting at Video Marketing World. When I spoke there, I met with one of the guys that work at the company there. And I ended up doing just a little quick training thing for them. It was like an interview style thing where basically they're asking me specific questions. I'm giving the answers. And then from there, we just had some, brief interactions at like conferences here and there, just, quick catches up, that kind of stuff. And then eventually they reached out, because we knew each other from that. So then they reached out saying like, hey, we would like to, work with you in some way. Are you interested? And with that, I was like, oh, so what a perfect fit, this is. So, so I jumped on that right away. But other things that you want to think about as well is when you are doing this whole thing, another thing to make sure that you're thinking about is as part of those relationships, you can't really create a relationship off of one video. Right. So when these companies are reaching out with you and they're trying to do like, hey, can we just sponsor a video? In that case, that's where it might be kind of like a cash grab if we're just being transparent about it, because if it's just one video, you don't really have the opportunity to build that relationship, but they could just be testing your audience to see, how they respond to their products. But the idea there is you always, when possible, you want to try to get like an extended thing. And what I mean by that is instead of just doing one video, you actually bring more value to the brand and you bring more value to your audience, making sure that they are aware of the brand that you're working with, because you should only be working with brands that you like genuinely support. So when you work on longer term deals, like let's say a 3-video series, 5-video series, a 6-month thing to where you're doing content, every month for 6 months or a year, whatever, you end up working out. The win there is that you get to integrate deeply with that brand, with your content, to where, people start to get familiar with, with the brand from you from the brand, all of that good stuff, to where you're actually sending people back and forth and all that good stuff. But basically those long-term agreements, a lot of content creators are like afraid to ask for, like, hey, typically for my single videos, it's, this high, which is pretty expensive, but I have better deals if we have, multiple videos or a longer term thing. And a lot of content creators are just afraid to do that because they want that deal. But at the end of the day, the real value that you can bring to a brand, sure, you can make a video, bring attention to a thing and then be done. Like totally, absolutely. But the real value is when you can continually bring it to, to your viewers on a regular basis, because not every person watches every video. The people that watched your videos today, by tomorrow, you might have, more people that are interacting with your content that didn't get to see the videos that the sponsors are mentioning and things like that. So when you continually mention them over periods of time, then the likelihood of a viewer running into their product or service as a recommendation from you is pretty high. So, that's the idea with the longer term stuff. There's a lot more, that we get, like I could probably do a 3-hour live stream just on like brand deals. And that's actually, part of when he came in here and he dropped that super chat earlier talking about, the Twitter message, like it was like that kind of stuff. But we also went deeper into just talking about, like as the content creator, as the face, being just like associated, with the brand and, the relationships there and the relationships that you have in terms of like your audience and all that stuff is some of the stuff that we talked about there. But hopefully that information that I just shared will kind of get you started. And really quick, somebody mentioned a media kit. Like, what's a media kit? So basically a media kit is where you are, putting basically information together about your channel. So, you can do this as like there's places like Social Blue Book, which will give you just like a quick printout that you can send to places, but it doesn't look that great. Get Juice or Creative Juice. We're talking, about that type of thing right now as well. And one of the things that I, looked at in their stuff was, the brand deals that they are, or not the brand deals, but like the media kits that they are currently offering is kind of similar to what Social Blue Book is doing. And it's not something that's unique, right? It's not something that like stands out. So one of the things that I told them is I was like, hey, make actual like real media kits here that people can use and all that stuff, because a lot of content creators don't even know where to start. But the idea is it's basically just like a collection of information that you put together. You put together a display to where it's also attractive, because then that represents you professionally. But you put together a display. It could either be like a PowerPoint slide or whatever, but basically you put it together in a way to where, it's all visually appealing as well. But basically the idea is that you give them like your average view counts, your audience demographics. You also can add additional things as well, talking about why you make the content that you make, why you're passionate about what it is that you're doing, why you think, that you would be a good fit or be able to add value to, different brands. You can also add things like if you do promote anything as an affiliate, you'll get data on, your conversions and how much traffic you send to people and all that good stuff. So you can include those sorts of things as well. But, all of these things are things that you add into your media kit. But the idea is it's basically like a collection of information that you put together and you present it to them for the sake of them being able to get a deeper understanding of your YouTube channel, what it is that you're doing there, who your audience is, and all that good stuff, so that they can know if you're in alignment with who it is that they're trying to get in front of. That's the idea. Roberto Blake in the house. So yeah, so he's the one that I was talking about. So let's see here. So Princess Beyond Passion. So Roberto Blake is in the chat right now, the one that I was saying to go follow. So let me find him and I'll pin him just so you know the name. Give me 1 second right here. So this is the one, this is him. So Roberto, I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I said, there's a guy that's in these streams a lot. I was like, he comes on them a lot, but I was like, he's, I was like, he's actually like doubling down or niching down into the creator economy. So I told her to come over and follow your channel. So that's him. So Princess Beyond Passions, go follow his content. Go follow Roberto because he talks about this stuff constantly. Let's see here. So next up on our list, let's see what we got here. So we got Science-Based Fitness. Says, hey, Nick, thanks for the help. I uploaded my first training ebook to my website and I set up a Buy Me a Coffee site finally. So here's a coffee for you. High five and fist bump to you for setting that up, because then that's, that's you taking that action on working on additional monetization. So nice work. Love it. Al Sarah, I apologize if that's the, if I'm saying that incorrectly, but, let's see here. I'm Italian and I make videos with only my voice. I've always had a lot of ideas, but lately I feel empty. Do you have some suggestions? Yeah, absolutely. So if you're in like a creative rut, then some things that you can do just to be inspired for video ideas is the same kind of stuff that you would do for like, if you're doing like keyword research. And that is go to the YouTube search bar, start typing in things. And keep in mind, you're not doing this because you're trying to like rank a video in search or anything like that. You're doing this looking for just inspiration of content to make. So what you do is you go up to, you go to the autocomplete on YouTube, or you go to the search bar on YouTube and you start typing in whatever type of content it is that you make. You start typing in, things that you talk about in your channel, that kind of stuff. And then YouTube is going to autocomplete things that people are looking for based around the things that you talk about. So you can, like, for example, if we were to do, we'll just say fitness or something, right? If you make fitness content, and I'm saying that because Science-Based Fitness is right here on my screen. So if you make fitness content, then in that case, you can go up there and do like fitness, exercise, getting abs, like that kind of stuff. And then as you're typing in those types of things into YouTube search, then YouTube is going to start showing you ways that people are looking for those things. And by seeing all of that information, that can just be like, oh, didn't even think about that. These are some really good ideas here. And you can come up with really endless video ideas just by doing that. But when you do that, just do like, in that case, if it was like fitness, then you would do like how to fitness how to, fitness what fitness, right? And you just kind of let that be and just see what gets suggested there. And then you can do fun things as well, to where you do it'd be like how to fitness A, and then backspace how to fitness B, and then see what's listed there, backspace, and you just kind of rinse and repeat there. In addition to that, you also have things like Answer the Public, where you can go in there and you put in the topic that you talk about, and it's going to give you this big wheel of, all the different things that people are interested in around your topic. You can also use things like, there's a website called SEMrush. You have to actually pay for it. But there's SEMrush, which also has like a similar idea wheel, I'll just call it, to where you put in your topic and then it will kind of spit back, ways that people are, or just information that people are looking for around your topic. In addition to that, you can just Google around your topic. When you Google around your topic, there's going to be all kinds of blogs and websites, things like that pop up. Just right click and just start opening new windows and just start looking on all of their websites, and just start looking at all the different headlines, all the different things that they're talking about on the websites, to see if any of that would, inspire you with the content that you're making. In addition to that, start looking outside of your niche. Like for example, if you're not making YouTube help content, you could look at my channel and you can go to my videos page and you could look at all the different things that I'm talking about on my channel, or something that, would be a little bit more in alignment with what you're making. But basically you just look on that channel and you start saying like, okay, this video here, I can actually turn that into something that would be cool for my channel. Even though it's a totally different niche, I would be able to make it for my niche, right? So then that way, you're using content that's already out there just for inspiration as well. So like, for example, and I'll just pull like a random one here if I can find one quickly, just so I don't waste a bunch of your time. But like, for example, let's see here, because I'm always taking like screenshots and like, thumbnail, grabbing thumbnails and all that. But like here, let me open Notion. This will be the easier way to do it. So like, for example, Notion, hold on.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Okay, so like right here, these are some really good examples. So like one that I have here is I have one thumbnail that I took from the best Instagram export settings for Adobe Lightroom right here, right? So I took that in there. And the reason that I put that one in there is because I can look at that and I can be like, okay, the best Instagram export settings, or the best Instagram export settings for Adobe Lightroom, I could morph that into my content as the best YouTube video, or the best YouTube export settings for Adobe Premiere, or for Camtasia, or for like whatever it is, right? Like I could morph that into something that's for me. Another one is, let's see here. Okay, I won't show that one. Okay, like this right here, we've got this one from Sky Jordan. It's a vocal melody hack, how to record vocals with energy, right? So let me go here. So you can see that one up there, right? So the reason I screenshotted that one, and these are all saved inside of my Notion because I have a whole area for this. But basically there, I can change that on my end on like how to record YouTube videos with energy, right? So just using those as just kind of like, I have like this is just a big pool of those. So then I can go through, if I'm having one of those times as I'm putting my content together for the month and I know what content I'm going to be making, I can be like, okay, these are just some ideas from just kind of drawing blanks myself to kind of get the motor running with my creativity on how I can, just the content that I can put together. Hey, Roberto, I saw your thing here. So I would have you on right now because, as you know, dude, you're welcome like all the time. But I'm actually in like 15 minutes. I'm going to be closing it down. So just for the sake, because I know it'll take you a little bit to get ready and all that good stuff. So but next week, I'll be more mindful of the time. If you want to come on next week and talk brand deals for a while, definitely down for that. Let's see here. So next up, let's see here. So let's go ahead and pull some out of the questions. Let's go into some lightning round since we are down to about 15 minutes or so in the stream today. Let's go into lightning round. And if you have a question, put a Q in front of your question, and we're just going to start crushing through questions here. And I've got my countdown timer that's going to pop up here on the back. So I'm just going to give myself a limited amount of time so we can just crush through as many questions as we possibly can here within the amount of time that we have. Yeah, Roger says brand deals are amazing. Absolutely, they are. Absolutely. Another thing too is, like when you do like the long-term stuff, it also adds some consistency because, like when you're doing stuff online, like it can fluctuate quite a bit. So it just adds, a lot of consistency as well. Okay, looking for those cues, looking for the cues. Okay, would it be good for me to have bigger channels? I collab with Mention Me in our collabs. I mean, they do it anyway, but should they do the @ thing and where in the title description? So yeah, having them mention, I'm not sure if like it's a positive. Why is that not showing up? I'm not sure if it's like a positive on like the YouTube side. There we go. But I would definitely have them do that because some people will click on that and that will lead them over to your YouTube channel. Okay, we did that one in like 6 seconds. That was good. Okay, let's see here as we keep on going. Nord the Gemini, welcome to the Nimminati. I hope that you enjoy the information here. Let's see here through his niche. Okay, that was Doug on the question there. Let's see here. So Learn English with Debbie says, observation. When you guys teach to niche down, it is so true. After niching my very first video has over 3,000 views. This has only been out for 1 month. Thank you for all of your help. Yeah, my pleasure. You know, like the whole thing with this stuff is it is tough. So because of that, you know, people like myself and Roberto that's in the chat right here, Daniel Batal who's in the chat right here, and a bunch of other people who make content like this, you know, like our thing is like, you know, we've been doing this for a while. So, you know, like being able to, you know, share the things that we learn along the way with, you know, with the things that we learn from our channels or working with other people or whatever the thing is, like just being able to share that information to help, you know, people that are just coming on and trying to get, you know, an understanding of how this stuff works. Like, you know, we thrive on that stuff. Like that's, you know, that's for us. That's, you know, like that side of things is like, you know, part of where our fulfillment comes from doing all this. Let's see here. So we recently had to stop lives because internet issues, but still uploading conversations and setting them as a premiere to interact with the audience. How does YouTube treat them differently? So with a premiere, the premiere, as soon as it's finished, is a piece of video content, just normal video content, essentially. But the only difference is that you have that interaction while you are actually, you know, while the video is premiering. So in terms of a live stream, it's different because you actually have to keep people engaged through the live stream. But with the premiere, you just have that, you know, moment in time for the video and then it's done. So it's just not a lot of time involved. Let's see. Would it be good? Okay, we did that one already. Let's see here. No, you don't want to use YouTube Shorts in that way. At least not right now. Basically, like on the short shelf, like they're there, right? So you just want to keep them there. You can put them into a playlist. You can put them into a series playlist as well. But you know, but people are mostly consuming those on the short shelf. That's where they're getting the most attention right now. Let's see here. Oops. Do you agree with Roberto's 1% rule for the first 1,000 subs? I'm not very familiar with the 1% rule, but in terms of you know, making a bunch of videos and just, you know, focusing more on making your content and learning how to serve your viewers in order to, you know, make that happen, definitely. And I can just say, you know, like I agree with, you know, I would say almost everything, if not everything, that Roberto recommends to people. So, you know, he definitely leads people in the right direction. So if Roberto recommends something and it's called his 1% rule, then it's good advice. I can tell you that right now, just from knowing Roberto. Like if he's recommending something to you, it's good advice and you should follow it. Let's see here. I coded a tool to help with troubleshooting Windows networking to go with my vids. How to monetize, leverage that. Ooh, nice. So let's see here. Coded a tool to help troubleshooting Windows networking. So basically when you are publishing your videos, I would either have like a lower third or just something that you mentioned somewhere in your videos that helps people know that you have that thing available. So that would be where you would be making the content. And if your tool solves a problem, even better, because then you can make search optimized content that people will be looking for that will lead them into your tool, right? So like, for example, yours troubleshooting Windows networking. So then in that particular case, if people are, you know, looking for all of these different things, I would make a video for every topic that people have trouble with when it comes to networking. And I would make a video for that and try to get it up in search. And then with every single one of those, I would either have a bumper at the beginning of the video that would be essentially advertising it, or I would just make the video in terms of like, this is the solution, how you fix the problem. And all of those roads lead to your actual tool. Where you, of course, you know, conveniently have a link in the description to get to that tool. In addition to that, you might also want to consider, if it's something that you're selling, you might want to consider running YouTube ads as well. With YouTube ads, you can target any video on YouTube, you can target any channel on YouTube, and doing that way might actually help you get traction faster compared to, you know, making the video content for it. So while you're growing it organically on your own, I would also be spending some money on YouTube ads to get in front of very specific videos that would be a good fit for your tool. You know, if people are watching this video, then my tool is going to help them. That's the approach that you want to take, and you would want to target those videos specifically. Let's see here. Should shorts be monetized while being uploaded? I mean, you can, but and the reason that you can is because like on YouTube, here we go. On YouTube, like people will still click on shorts. Like you can still get desktop traffic onto shorts. Like you don't just get it in the short itself. That's just where they're prioritized. So because of that, yeah, absolutely. You turn them on if you want to get some, ad revenue from them for the people that do come in on a computer. What do you think about YouTubers that buy their subscribers and views? I think that they just simply don't know what's up. And I think that they're trying to, shortcut things and they just don't understand the damage that causes. So, like in a lot of cases, like you'll see people that will do that sort of thing. And then like after they do that thing, they'll be like, man, my channel, it doesn't matter what I do with my channel. Like I just can't get anything going. And it's because, they took that route and it created just an entire inactive audience of like robots. So because of that, I strongly recommend that people do not do that because it's just not effective. It hurts more than it helps. As a matter of fact, like sometimes just because of the type of content I make, I have those types of services that will run ads on my videos. And when either somebody leaves a comment about it or somebody tweets something to me about it, or if I happen to see it just because if I'm like running across it on like a different account that I'm using or something, then in that case, if I see it, then, in a lot of those cases, I'll go and I'll actually look at it and I'll be like, hey, what is this? What are they trying to sell people or whatever? But in a lot of those, they'll actually have a listing of people that are using their services. And the funny thing is just because I know what to look for, like when I open up some of those channels, like I'll go to YouTube and I'll be like, oh, I wonder, when they were using it and what they're doing now, like that type of thing. And I'll pull up some of the channels and, you'll see the ones when they were using the service. And then after that, they're just dead. Like just completely dead. Like, they'll have like, 70 videos on the channel. They'll have like 5 that have a lot of views on them. And then, everything else is like, 10 views, 5 views, stuff like that, 30 views. And it's just because they didn't, they're trying to shortcut it instead of learning the fundamentals. If you learn the fundamentals, you learn the basics of YouTube and you learn how to understand your audience and make content for them and get them to respond to what it is that you're doing. Like you can't buy your way around that, because if you try to buy your way around that, then as soon as you stop spending money and then you try to get that same reach organically, then you still haven't learned how to get people to respond to what it is that you're doing. You still haven't learned to make content that people enjoy. Therefore, you're just stuck right back at square one again. So because of that, you have to go through that learning curve of learning how to make content that people respond to and getting them to click on it in order to make it possible to even be able to do this. So, so because of that, I just think that the people that do that, they're trying to shortcut things. And I think a lot of people just don't know. Because like, unless you run into content like mine or somebody else that makes content like mine, or just somewhere on the internet to where people are like, yeah, you don't want to do that. Some people might see that and some people might think like, oh, hey, that's how people grow their channels. I'm in, right? Like this is how you do it. So, because of that, I'm sure a lot of people do that just because, the companies have a great sales page and they basically mislead people into using their services. Let's see here. Did Roberto mention his, okay. So he says the basic premise is, hold on, let me see if I can find this really quick, because I see it on one, but I'm wanting to put it up on the screen too. Let's see here. Okay, basic premise, I'll just read it here because I can't get it on the screen. But he says basic premise is that that 100,000 views, 1% of them on average will translate to subscribers. So to get your first 1,000 subscribers, target 100,000 intentional views. Yeah, I support that all day long. Yeah, totally. Generally, 1% statistically works on average, even at larger channel sizes. The more charismatic people convert higher than that, though. Yeah, totally support that concept for sure. Yeah, I just wasn't familiar with that. I haven't heard you say that before, so that's why I was like, I'm not sure. But if it comes from Roberto, then it's good advice. Let's see here. My channel's about improving and riding a motorcycle on a racetrack. Should I change the channel name to help SEO and YouTube? No. So I would keep your channel name what it is. But people are going to be coming into your channel based on your video content. They're not going to come into your channel based on your channel name. Randomly, they will. So like, for example, we have urban van life in here. If somebody's into van life, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, van life. I wonder what this channel's about. And they'll pop up another window or, whatever on their phone. And they'll go and they'll look at, urban van life and they'll see what this channel's about. So in that case, it can be helpful. But if you are not extremely active on YouTube, it's not going to matter. Like even in that case, even if you are active on YouTube, like the majority of your subscriber gain, the staggering majority of your subscriber gain is just going to come from your video content. It's not going to come from, your channel name or people like clicking on your channel name from a live chat and going and seeing what you're doing. It's going to come from your actual video content. Let's see here. So I'm looking for cues. Let's see here. Okay, so Wisco Ted says, what do you focus on? What do you focus on when making a video before even recording? I'm working on organizing my workflow. So for me, it'll be research. So basically, I'll look into content that people have responded on my channel to in the past. Well, I'll look at content on competitor channels and I'll see what they've been putting out recently that people responded to well, and I'll think like, is there something complementary that I can make to that? Something contrasting that I can make to that? Like, is there something that I can do in a way that would to where maybe they made the video, but they weren't as clear as they could have been. So then maybe if I were to do a version of it, but frame it in a different way, would I be able to, deliver the value in a different way or more efficiently than they did, that kind of stuff. But basically, like, I'll do that stuff first. In addition to, if I'm trying to get something to show up in search, then of course I'll go hard on the actual keyword research as well. Like if it's an affiliate video, then I'll go hard on the keyword research in order to, try to get that to show up in search for a specific term. If it is something to where I'm mainly going after the recommendation features, then in that particular case, that's where I'll just lean on like, okay, what are people asking me in the comment sections? What are people asking me when I mention in the community tab, the problems you're having with your channel, things I can help you with? Like I'll dig into that. I'll look for things that are similar. Like if I'm getting, like we mentioned earlier, right? We had a few requests come in back to back here in the forum about people talking about, monetizing their channels and doing YouTube full time and using YouTube as an income source. So because of that, if I started asking some questions around, the internet and on my channel, around, different topics, if I started seeing more of that coming in, then that would tell me like, okay, if I publish a video on something about making money on YouTube, really good chance that, there's going to be enough people that will respond to that to get it, to get it kind of moving. So, so those are the types of things that I look into. And also like before making the video or before even recording, the things that I'll do there is just for efficiency, because you're talking about, your workflow. So like for efficiency, like I'll open up like Google Docs, for example. I'll usually do all of my like notes and things like that for the video inside of Google Docs, my bullet points, any specific details that I need, like in specific numbers, anything like that. I'll put those as notes, but basically I'll do everything in Google Docs. The reason I do that is just so that I can open it everywhere. So I have like this machine, I'll record here. Sometimes I'll record over there. I'll sit down and record over there. But basically, I just want to make sure that if I'm on my tablet, my phone, this computer, that computer over there, the laptop, the other laptop, I just like wherever it is that I am, that I can just quickly access that doc and then start going for it. So because of that, like the bullet point scripting stuff, the note taking things that I add to the videos, all of that will be done in Google Docs, as part of that workflow, just so I can easily pull everything up that way. Let's see here. I'm in a Nimmin Live. What's up, Aiden? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Welcome to Nimmin Live. I hope that you are doing fantastic. Welcome to the stream today. You actually came here right at the end of it, because we are getting ready to go into chill time here on Nimmin Live. So before we go into chill time, I do want to thank everybody that hung out in the live stream today. I hope that you had a great time. I hope that you learned something today. And, for those of you that are new, if you are, just trying to get the ball rolling on your YouTube channel, and you hear a lot of the information that we talk about here in the stream today, and you start thinking to yourself like, man, this is a lot of stuff, right? This is a lot of, there's a lot of, information. And, there's a lot to learn. I just encourage you to, like if you were taking notes or, if you did get some takeaways, that you just, that you write those down. You say, okay, over the next, week or the next month, whatever it is, I'm going to work on like these specific things. If I mention things inside of YouTube analytics, like audience retention reports or click-through rate, things like that, if you don't know where those are, then go find them. Right? Go find them, go Google around, figure out how to, find where those things are, so that you can, put yourself in a more informed position when it comes to, growing your YouTube channel and, doing all of these things that we got to do around our channels. So again, thank you everybody for hanging out. And I hope that you got some value out of the stream today. Hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your week. And we are going to go into chill mode now. And chill mode, just for those of you that don't know what that is basically I have some music playing, and I basically just kind of switch to one camera, and then I use this time to let people into the membership group and things like that. But it's basically just kind of like a wind down for me, as kind of like a for the vibe, and you can just kind of hang out if you just kind of want to listen to some music while that's going down as well. Sometimes I'll come back on, other times I won't, just kind of depends. But I just wanted to let you know what's going on there. For those of you that are not familiar with chill mode, that is what's what's going on here. So we are now going into chill mode, and I will talk to you guys later and have a fantastic weekend. And I will see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Remember to check out TubeBuddy. A link to them is down in the description below. StreamYard, a link to them is down in the description below, as well as a bunch of other, useful tools and resources for you as a YouTube content creator. So make sure that you check those out as well. Links are down in the description. Have a great weekend.
This song kind of sucks. Moving on.
See what this one's like. Neil, the music service is it's going to be 100% free. Board Gamer says I need a cinematic score to make it more dramatic. That would be fun, actually. Yeah, that's good. Hey, so really quick, I want to thank the top chatters today. We have Albie-tastic is number 1, and Drew Project is in the number 2 spot. Magic Flying Potato, number 3 spot here for our top chatters for today's stream. So I just want to thank you guys for hitting those top 3 spots today. Super appreciate you guys, hanging out here and participating as much as you do. Thank you.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Will Star, when you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in. That's how I verify that you are a member. I'm actually I have that page open right now. So if you want to go do that right now, I can get you in the group right now. Hey man, is your Twitter account Drew Project Com or Drew Project Inc. or Drew Project, or do you have a Twitter account for Drew Project? Because I'm looking for it right now, and I can't find it. .com, found it. Yeah, you do. It's Drew Project Com. My motorcycle obsession. If that is your state, I hope that you enjoy your evening or day, whatever it is where you are at this point in time. I hope that you are enjoying the vibes. Will Star, you are now in. Amen to that, terrestrial vibes. Right now it is 11:18 p.m. JZ helps. I have a scooter. So here in Thailand, I have a scooter and a car. With the scooter, it's like a Yamaha. I'm not sure what the model is. It's like a 155cc scooter. Really fun to ride. A lot of people ride scooters over here. When I was in the States, I had a Yamaha V-Star motorcycle in the States. But here, scooters, just because traffic and being able to kind of, wiggle around traffic, drive on sidewalks, all that good stuff over here. Magic Flying Potato. I didn't know you're in Arizona. Interesting. Yeah, my mom is in Arizona. Anytime I go to the States for a conference or something, I always swing through Arizona, with the exception of the last time because of what's going on in the world. I didn't want to get close to her at that time. But yeah, pretty cool that you're in Arizona. I didn't know that. I have, Neil. I have GoPro'd some scooter action. I definitely have somewhere on this computer. I think it's on the other computer. I've definitely got some of the some GoPro footage of cruising the scooter around. I've got some time lapse versions of it too, which is pretty interesting, or hyperlapse, whatever you want to call. Yeah, like it's a skill set to develop, and because of that, like while you are growing your channel, you can definitely use it as a practice to develop that skill. But in addition to that, you can also use live streams, not just as like a, hey, we're doing a community stream, but you can also use it as a way to make quick content. I talked about this during the stream today, actually, where we talked about, like instead of looking at it like, hey, I got a live stream for an hour, look at it from the perspective of like, okay, I'm going to live stream for like 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm just going to give my best content that I can for that 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm going to call it a wrap. And when that live stream opens, I'm going to start it with a hook, just like you would with a video. And then I'm going to take people through the process so that essentially you're recording a live video for the purpose of the replay. Since you don't have an audience yet, you're doing it for the purpose of the replay to get content out there, versus like I'm just going to, go live for an hour, like with the community. So just if you do live stream, when you're first getting started, just be intentional about, how you're doing it and the length of time that you're streaming, because, for every hour of your live stream, like that's a pretty heavy commitment, to ask people that, that aren't familiar with what it is that you do yet. So like when they click into that video and they see how long it is, you'll get a lot of abandonment on live stream replays. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that if you're using them to grow your channel and to actually put content out there, that that you're just structuring it right in terms of, it opens up, I've got a hook, and then I'm taking people through, a piece of content essentially, but I'm just doing it live. You want to take that approach. We have a Chihuahua. Popcorn is a Chihuahua. So yeah, so this is let me find a shot here. Where is a good popcorn shot? Yeah, this is pop. Oh, you can't see it. There we go. Yeah, this is Popcorn sleeping on the sofa. I think I actually follow the dog channel. I think I follow your dog or your dog channel on over on Instagram.
Super chat.
So coffee talk and tech. So what decides YouTube's CPM rate for a video? It comes down to the demographics of the people actually watching the content. So like when you run ads on YouTube, you get to target areas, right? And based on, the different areas that you target and topics and keywords, things like that, you're basically, going after, places where it's more competitive, right? So like, for example, like if you are, running ads to like a US audience, you're going to pay more for it. If you, just because there's more people trying to reach it. If you are running ads in Thailand, for example, then you can get ads, relatively cheap over here. So, it comes down to what people pay for ads for what it is that you're doing, but that comes down to like the demographics, right? So it comes down to the demographics. It comes down to the type of content that you make. It comes down to the actual topic of your video. Like all of those things matter. So, so when it comes to, your CPM, it's basically who's watching your content and where they watching that content from and what your content is about. Those three things are going to be the things that, that determine your CPM. Dark anime is like, yeah, I love the super chat sound effects. So I'm gonna take you through the ringer here. So we've got this one,
Super chat.
we've got this one for members.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Let's see what else we got here on the sounds. We've got this one to give it a thumbs up.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
We've got this. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Nimmin Live. Remember to check out our sponsors and other useful resources in the description below this stream.
And those,
see you next week.
That one's actually a little bit lower, so the volume on that one needs to come up a bit. But in addition to that, like when people come on the stream, I've also got little intros that I've made for some people. One of these, because he hasn't been on since I've done it, nobody's heard yet. So I'll actually play through some of those too, just for fun for everybody that's hanging out. So like this one is for Owen.
Our next guest registers a 9 out of 10 on the Clooney scale, but he'll also help you leverage YouTube for your business. Ladies and gentlemen, Owen Video.
So that's Owen's. This is David Foster's.
When it comes to making great looking content, our next guest will take you to new heights. The impartial geek, David Foster.
Brian G. Johnson's.
To help you stake your claim and amplify your message on YouTube, I bring you the one, the only, Brian G. Johnson.
Got this one for Daniel Batal.
This just in. We just got notice that a special guest is now beaming in straight from Air Force One. I present to you Daniel Batal.
Got Roberto Blake. You Star Wars fans will love this one. Yeah, Daniel's still in here. Yeah, that's his favorite for sure. We've got this one is Roberto Blake's.
At last, the Sith Lord of YouTube, Roberto Blake.
This is my brother D, because he's stuck in Mexico. This will change once he gets out of there, but right now this is his.
Señoras y señores, mi hermano de la misma madre que está en estos momentos atrapado en México, Nimmin.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely it is. Yeah, Envato Elements is fantastic. All kinds of useful stuff in there. Let's see here. And let's see here. The next one. This is one that nobody's heard before. I had this one made for Benji.
As a veteran in the vlog world, this YouTube coach helps pro content creators take their business to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen,
I should put like an
Benji
echo on it.
Travis.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the what we got going on for the sound effect stuff. Let's see here. David says, what conferences would you suggest attending next year? Does it make a difference if we have a smaller YouTube channel and are newer to YouTube? Yes. Yeah, I would definitely attend conferences. So as a YouTube content creator, I would go to Vid Summit. I would make that at the very top of your list. So with Vid Summit, it is where, so like when you go to VidCon and stuff like that, those are also, fun conferences and good for networking and stuff like that. But like when you go to those conferences, they're more, like a fan on this side and the content creators on this side. All of the like prominent content creators, some will just, walk around stuff, but like all the like big channels, like they just kind of, they're kind of isolated to their own areas and things like that. With the Vid Summit, it's just kind of like everybody's an open book. It's not like a fan thing. It's like a creator. It's an industry thing. So like when you go to Vid Summit, it's more about just like networking. Everybody's just completely open with all their information. The information that's shared at Vid Summit is basically you have days of like educational content there. Where at Vid Summit, you just might have like one track that is for like the industry side. So Vid Summit, if you're a YouTube content creator, like without even like if we were to do like a comparison, like Vid Summit would be way up here in terms of like the conferences that YouTube content creators should go to. And then underneath that, I would put Social Media Marketing World. And the reason that I would put Social Media Marketing World next is because as a YouTube content creator, there's a really good chance you're also going to be on additional social media. So they also cover YouTube stuff there as well. But with that one, it just gives you more insights into social media in general. Vid Summit has some of that too, but it's more video focused. But with Social Media Marketing World, it's, they go into like the social media side of things, not just, video content. So yeah, Daniel Batal also says here, Social Media Marketing World is his second favorite, mine too. And then from there, there's other ones. So like, depending on where you're located in the world or the country, there's also the People of Video who just had their first in-person version last month. That, a lot of really good feedback from that one. And Video Marketing World is over in Texas, I believe. And I've spoken at Video Marketing World as well, but I only went to that one once. So with the different conferences, like, if you can find something local, go to it. But the one that you want to make sure that you go to is Vid Summit. That happens in LA. It's usually in like October, September is when it all goes down. But that happens in LA. If you want to sample Vid Summit, they have, if you go to like vidsummit.com or I think vidsummit.tv, the replays are available now to where you can actually buy the replays and you can get an idea of the information that comes from the stages. But the information that comes from the stages is one thing, but then you also have the information that comes from the conversation, which for me, I get tons of information from the stage, right? Because I, like one of the value things that I get from Vid Summit is one, I get to, be a speaker there when I speak. But then even if I'm not speaking there, like I would still go and it's for the information that's shared there, from the stages, but also just the conversations that you have in the hallways. So for example, like at Vid Summit, if you go there and you see, just a content creator that, just somebody that has like millions of subscribers, then, like you can walk up to that person and you can just start talking about, about YouTube and their channel and your channel and, like the struggles that you're having and the wins that you're having and, that kind of stuff, to where at some of the other conferences, those people might be a little bit more, I don't know if reserved is the right word, but it might, they're just a little bit more protective of, just either the information or just being a little bit weird about who they talk to and like that kind of stuff. Just because they have a lot of people trying to get their attention. But at Vid Summit, it's smaller, it's intimate, and because of that, like it's really easy to, to have conversations with people that might otherwise be very difficult to have a conversation with. And you can get a lot of information that way. Plus, just, before the event, after the event, all the after, party stuff and, after party hangouts and dinners and all that good stuff. Like the amount of information that you walk away from with Vid Summit, like people, when they go to Vid Summit for the first time, most people, when they leave, they're like charged in terms of just like all the energy and they're just like fired up. For me, when I go there, it just reignites me like every single year. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I couldn't go this year. But like, every year prior, it just reignites me every single year. So like, like when you do the same thing and you're doing the same things every day, it just kind of gets like, repetitive to where it's just kind of like, hey, this is what I do. Hey, I'm here in front of the computer again. I'm here in front of the camera again, like that kind of thing. So like when you go to, events like that and you're around like an entire group of people that take it seriously, because I mean, the tickets to Vid Summit, I think they're like $1,000 or something. So it's like when you are in a area for a few days of people that are that committed to where they're spending that much to go to the conference, everybody that you're talking to is serious about what it is that they're doing, and everybody's trying to actively improve. And that vibe that you pick up from that is, it's electric. Like it's fantastic. But yeah, Vid Summit. If you could only choose one, I would go to Vid Summit. If you can choose two, I'd go to Vid Summit and Social Media Marketing World. Let's see here. Nice to see you in here. Yeah, so Flyride says, I shared elevator rides with Ricky Ray Butler, Mr. Beast Buddies, the expert plumber himself. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think I lost my audio. Hold on. There we go. Lost my audio for a second. Hey, my pleasure. My pleasure, David. Chris says after 1,300 videos, I do feel the repetition. Totally. Yeah, you know, like after a while, right? Like after a while, it's like, you know, when you're making content, you know, you know, it becomes just a thing that you do, right? And in some case, oh, I didn't lose the audio. Oh, okay. Yeah, I reset it anyway because I thought that I did, but I think I just turned it down because I couldn't hear Epidemic sound anymore. So I was like, oh yeah, I think I lost my audio, but I think it was just me turning it down. It's late here. I mean, it's like 11:30 p.m. So there's that. Hey, Lo-Fi Chill, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Lo-Fi Chill, do you make original music for your YouTube channel? Is that what you do over there? You know, the only thing that I would do differently is I would have taken more advantage of the, and really like, I'll be honest, I've had such an incredible journey from all this stuff that, you know, like I really don't think that there's much that I could do that would have made it play out better. I guess the only thing would be to put out like a course or something like that sooner. Like I'm the only YouTube help person that I'm aware of that doesn't have a course. So like, you know, like people like learning from me and they like the way that I explain things and all of that. So, you know, to do over again, I would have put out a course like years ago. And then, you know, by this time that course would be, you know, just incredible. So, you know, I would have put it out, you know, a few years ago and then just kind of built it up, you know, as I, you know, kept going. So that would be the only thing that I would change. But outside of that, like, you know, this journey has just been an incredible experience for me. You know, YouTube and, you know, all the things that I do, you know, around the channel has just like it's made just a, you know, just a huge impact on me and everybody around me as well. So yeah, I can't really think of anything that I would do differently. It's worked out awesomely. So I guess the only thing would be, you know, putting out like a course earlier or something like that. Maybe because we're getting ready to put out some like software related things and stuff like that. Maybe putting that stuff out, you know, a little bit earlier, things like that. So like, for example, the tube spanner thing that we have coming out soon, like with that, like technically, because that project was started like, you know, like I think like a year or 2 years ago or something like that. Like it's been, you know, like in the works for quite some time. And as it's been in the works, because, you know, things like that, like software stuff, like it takes a lot of development time. So because of that, like the smart way to do that, and I just didn't, you know, like me and the people that were doing that with, like the better approach would have been to get it to like a minimum viable product and then let it go out then. And then build from there. But instead we're like, hey, when this goes out, we want it to be like awesome, like right out of the gate. So because of that, you know, there's like tons of features in there and we've got like, you know, a CMS that it's built on where we can like expand it quickly, you know, in the future, once it goes out, things like that. So, so because of that, you know, like that could have been out like a long time ago. But because we, you know, didn't put it out, you know, when it does come out, it'll be, you know, it is awesome. But the, like, I wish I would have put that out sooner too. So basically just getting stuff out faster, is the main stuff. But outside of that though, in terms of like strategy stuff for the channel, things like that, I'm just, super grateful for how things have, you know, turned out and worked out. You know, so based on like channel strategy, stuff like that, I wouldn't change it, for that. But just in terms of putting out products, stuff like that, I would do that stuff sooner. All right. So everybody have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend as well. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you learned something today during the stream. And again, have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next Saturday, same exact time, 9 a.m. Eastern, just like we do every Saturday. And have a fantastic weekend and enjoy your day. And stay safe out there, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys soon. Take care.
Thanks for watching Nimmin Live. Remember to check out our sponsors and other useful resources in the description below this stream. See you next week.